Countdown done lied to you. Sorry about that. That's just where the sound ended. Hello and welcome to People Making Statements, the once a month show, or maybe less that. Sometimes misses a month or 10, and you kind of freaked out, but don't worry, it's kind of back the next month. People Make Statements is a show brought to you about nothing and everything. Brought to you by Lockhart, Brow, and myself, Spur. It's brought to you out of beautiful Warren County, St. Louis County, and Jefferson County, where we're currently in storm mode. Snow, maybe next week or something like that. I possibly heard. People Making Statements is, yeah, possibly. Not sponsored by anyone, but is currently accepting officers. We're talking to you, New Riff. Quite smooth.
Yeah, so
on tonight's show, catching up, shootings in the loo, Brow's Horror Sister, Snip and Stitch, definitely not charged lemonades, Predators, New Beginnings, GTA. We've got a broad topic of things and some things we can't talk about. Let's I completely left out a section, which I'll just continue with it. Shooting balloons, running trains, crashing trains, and a few other odds and ends. Let's talk about Steven Seagal for some reason, too. Just you know, imagine I didn't say the last part, but I just kind of, the whole Steven Seagal thing made me smirk, so I figured I'd say it again.
I didn't hear about the Steven Seagal thing.
No, that was the last show. You were probably drunk.
If you're gonna make people,
he's probably gonna sit in the chair the whole fucking movie. I don't know. That's just what Steven Seagal does. I apologize in advance. My daughter's going to bed and she's making a ruckus. And we all know whenever we put her to bed, she don't go to bed for a good hour. She just runs around her room, bounces on her bouncy horse, bounces around to the bouncy bee around the room, yells, throws things across the room, and eventually asks for a blanket before she falls asleep.
Bouncy late. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That sounds like something I'd sing while she was bouncing around on her little inflatable bouncy beast across the room. The other night I went in and found her, always checking on the camera before we go to bed. I'm like, honey, did you put at least a diaper on our daughter? What do you mean? Do you want to check on her? She's got a diaper on. You want to check on her? God damn it. She took her diaper off. Yeah. Laying there for hours without a diaper on.
Was he swinging around like a helicopter?
She probably was. No, I did. She'll try to take her pants off and whip the diaper off with it. So we figured, like, maybe if we just just leave the pants off.
So she took the whip my hair back and forth and turned into whip my diaper back and forth.
Fortunately, she did that when it was dry, but unfortunately, there was some cleaning up. Fortunately, it was just pee. So that's what's going on.
Make it rain.
Yeah, I closed the folder. Oh, fortunately, it's in quick access. What do we got here? We got catching up, shootings, Brow's Horror Sister, Snip and Stitch. Yeah, let me get that out of the way first. I'm gonna keep adjusting myself because I got snipped this week, and my balls are sore. So just some adjustments. I haven't been supporting them as well as I should be, so not the most comfortable in the world. Is that why
your alcoholic drink is sitting in your lap right now to ice your balls a little bit?
Yes, a little bit. No, it's been a couple days, so ice ain't gonna help. But
I cuff those balls.
It hasn't been too bad, I can tell you that. But man, that was not a comfortable operation. Not at all.
Yes, they're snipping and tying off your testes so they don't send out spermicide anymore.
They snipped it and then they cook it with a laser and then they reattach it.
Ugh.
It smells like burning hair. That sounds
painful, but
it's not. Painful's the numbing it. That's the most pain. The rest is just uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm like, so asked the nurse, and then, so how'd I do? She goes, well, you didn't pass out or cry. I'd say you did better than most. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I would pass out.
I can completely understand why people would pass out. It is not comfortable. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's just not comfortable. And you smell the barbecue. You definitely smell that barbecue happening. Which at least when you
the
get
other
to that
white
point,
meat, you smell that going on.
You're just waiting for signs that it's almost over. Like, okay, I can smell it, so that we're a good portion of the way. And then the doctor's like, okay, well, he snitched you up. I'm like, I know, I could tell. He's like, oh, I'll, just do this.
You can smell that sweet baby rays.
You're just hoping he didn't pop his head up and go, all right, that's the left side. Now we're moving on to the right.
Well, I could tell. I was counting the amount of barbecues he was having down there. So if there was a third one, I was going to be concerned.
Sir, did you know you had a third testicle down here? No, I did not. Thank you for informing me.
I need something I can shut this door with. I don't know if you guys can hear that noise in the background.
Just a tiny bit.
Okay. So sorry about that.
I figured that was your small child.
Office will be moving here, hopefully within the next few months, which means I got to put up walls and run power and yeah.
Hey, I'll be moving in the next few months too.
Once you get electric,
if you'll take my goddamn job, come on, go do some electrical in the house. Just gotta do one.
We'll look into see who's got that shit and why that's all fucked up. What else we got? Anything general catch up? Because I've had some topics that we were sitting on that I was hoping we'd have more information before getting it done. But
what happened with that cop you were following?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move to that then. Let me click around a little bit.
Which cop are we talking about? Are we talking about the fake cop or the real cop?
No, there was an incident where the security guard in it.
Okay, so we've got two. We've got the cop and we've got the security guard. That's two shooting situations. Okay. Which do you want to start with, security or cop?
Security first.
Let's start with security because that's the one I really wanted to hone in on.
That just reminded me. Sorry, I just rewatched that movie Head of State with Chris Rock, and that immediately popped in my head as soon as you said security.
So, I'm different sizes. Look at that. All right, it's kind of weird.
That's what's gonna happen.
Everything ironed out except that. So we've got. Go away, Fox 2. This is from Fox 2, St. Louis. Ferguson, Missouri security guard faces criminal charges after police say he fatally shot a man over the weekend who opened fire at him at a Ferguson gas station. Keep in mind, this is October 10th. St. Louis County prosecutors have charged Maury Adams with 1 count of voluntary manslaughter and armed criminal action. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get to probable cause. Probable cause statement obtained by Fox 2. Adams was shot by a man who entered the convenience store. Ferguson police previously noted that Adams was wearing a bulletproof vest, and the gunfire came from the man who had left and re-entered the store. Per the statement, man reportedly shot Adams, then dropped the gun and ran down a hallway. Then Adams returned fire and shot the man several times. Probable cause statements notes Adams shot the man several times, quote unquote, while he, quote, laid on his floor with his hands up, end quote. I believe that's a little bit of a typo in there, probably. Man still not identified. Died from his injuries in the shooting. Previously reported there was surveillance footage reviewed leading up to the shooting, which showed an altercation escalate between Adams and the man fatally shot. Adams being held in St. Louis County Justice Center on a $50,000 cash-only bond. Questions, comments, concerns, responses, please leave a tip here.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Since I didn't read the article, only thing I can say is now hearing that the security guard shot a guy that shot him, I could see the self-defense as his defense in court being a legitimate defense strategy.
Yeah.
Well, my only thought about that is it depends on if that dude was running away. And if he was running away.
Sorry, I'm editing on the fly.
4 balls. So anyway, yeah.
Or 6, who knows?
Oh, God. Now it's Dragon Ball Z. All you gotta do is rub them and make a wish. So anyway.
But carry on.
Oh no, it gets even worse if you think about it, because you have to get you get all 7 of them together, and then you say, "Great dragon, come out." And if you think about it, you were talking about about Spurs balls, and he, hey, great dragon, that's your dick.
Well, fuck me sideways. I still have no idea what's going on. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Damn water out.
No idea.
So,
No idea.
so, I mean, dumbass. You know, I mean, it really depends on what the video shows. If it shows that the guy got shot, the security officer that is, and then he hits the ground, but the other guy takes off running, and he still shoots him anywhere in the back, or
so
he hit him.
I had read multiple variations of the story. I think another one, maybe a more updated one, stated that the man had dropped the gun as he ran away, put his hands up, fell to the ground, remained, and as the officer continued to shoot. That I think is where the probable cause statement comes from. Yeah. That voluntary manslaughter, he continued to shoot him in that situation. I believe that's what it was. But this is something I wanted to follow, so I went ahead and I actually saved a link to the CaseNet file. Those outside of Missouri, CaseNet is how we view our courts. Most states have a variation of. So it's public court records. We went ahead and I saved it so I could follow up later. And what I planned on doing was doing a sunshine request to obtain all the footage from that. We'd be asking for any video used in court proceedings, be it surveillance or body cam footage. And likely we would have gotten those with certain things rescinded or censored, redacted, whatever you want to call it. So the other week I went ahead and pulled it up and it's gone. I pulled up the guy's name. It's gone, completely clean on CaseNet. May as well be nobody. If I search my own name on there, I don't find myself on CaseNet because whatever traffic charges I had have been removed. Those are the only charges I've had. Search myself on CaseNet, it's not there. He is as available on CaseNet as I am. Therefore, the prosecuting attorney and those of us outside of Missouri, we have a PA as opposed to a DA. The prosecuting attorney, I assume, has dropped charges. So what I'm thinking happened, somebody may have jumped the gun, thrown this guy in jail, assuming, hey, this is hired law enforcement. Yes, they are law enforcement in St. Louis County. They're licensed through the police department, city or county. They do security work. They have authority of arrest just as much as a police officer does. They probably wanted to make an example of somebody in a situation as hot as it was. And at the end go, oh, fuck, we can't do that because he didn't do anything wrong. Or they can't prove he did anything wrong. It's court. Gotta, guilty until proven innocent, right? No. Innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, if there's not enough information, or if you cannot make that, if you can't show the proof and you don't think you're going to convince a jury, there's no fucking point to bring it to court. Or also, expert witness over here might be able to tell us, did that make it to the grand jury? And the grand jury said no. Thoughts?
No,
I can definitely see it go to a grand jury and saying you don't have enough evidence.
Well, if you're saying grand jury, are you saying the prosecutor?
No. So office? Go ahead and explain what the grand jury is, bro.
Okay, so I've actually been on one. Basically, they have a grand juries, the prosecuting attorneys bring in cases to them. When I was on it, they would give us a packet. And
how long were you on
cases for the day? I was on it for the entire summer, so I think it was 4, maybe 5 months. I was on it.
And how often did you go?
Once a week on Wednesdays, and it was an all-day thing on a Wednesday. Basically, you go in, you sit down. They come in, they go, "Hey, we have this case, we have this evidence against this person," and they give us an overview of what they have. We then decide if they have enough evidence to prove that the individual committed the crime. The prosecutors. So we don't hear from the defense at all. The defense isn't usually involved. Now, we did hear from 2 defendants came in and try to defend their actions to get the grand jury to not indict them, because if it goes to a grand jury, it is an indictment by a grand jury, not by the prosecuting attorney. That they do. This is what St. Louis County does. So for the one murder case that I can remember off the top of my head, they came in, they showed us pictures of the crime scene, of the victim when they found, or how they found the victim in their vehicle with the head blown off, basically. They showed us pictures of evidence that they collected from the suspect's home.
That's gruesome.
And a couple other things. That one, I have full memory of what happened in that case. I could probably, if I was a good drawer or painter or whatever, I could probably paint you a picture. That's how detailed this shit was. The worst memory I have was when they had a little girl who was molested. I have to change that to allegedly molested by a family member, and they had her come in. They recorded her testimony to us so that they could use it in the trial, so that this little girl didn't have to do sit in front of everybody in the court and go over everything again. Now, I don't know exactly how all that works with the defense cross-examining her, but I don't think they would in that particular instance. But yeah, so they probably
either because they'd be traumatizing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no shit.
But that one still sticks with me, and that one I do have a nightmare at least once every couple months about. But for this particular instance, more than likely what they did is they took the surveillance video, they showed it to the grand jury, they took the police's officers information that they gathered from statements from eyewitnesses that were on scene, probably statements from the defendant and others, and just to see what happened. And then the grand jury, what happens then after the case is given to the grand jury, after they're given everything, the prosecuting attorney or whoever is there, the defendants, witnesses and stuff like that, they leave the grand jury room until we let them know we're ready, and then they will come back in, and the grand jury will say yay or nay on taking them to court. And so more than likely they took all the evidence to them. The grand jury deliberated for X amount of time and then said yes or no. The prosecuting attorney has enough evidence to take this to court. We're not saying that the person is guilty in that particular instance. You're just saying you have a case. You have a good case to go against that individual.
So in a sense, I've kind of looked at the grand jury as saying, okay, if you've got a prosecuting attorney that's gung-ho about something that they probably shouldn't be, or that's, and maybe they're trying to reach for straws and they're not getting there, the grand jury gets to be the ones to be like, no, you don't have it, and it's not going. They can kind of be a defense mechanism, I think, in a lot of cases.
They can, but what can happen, because we had one case that I can remember off the top of my head that we got, I think it was like our second or third time at, grand jury, that we said, no, you don't have the evidence for, or you don't have the case for, or whatever. They left and they brought it back closer to the end of our time working with them, and they presented it with new evidence that had been, I think they were waiting on, God damn it, not drugs, but
just some evidence.
Oh shit. Yeah, like some science thing that takes a while to get the actual evidence for, and they finally got that, and that gave, in our opinion, gave them enough to take it to court to potentially prosecute the individual.
That's another thing. Whenever you bring something to grand jury and you present it to them, they say no, there's not enough evidence, and you bring it back to them again, and you do have more evidence, and they say yes, now it is. That can actually save them in a mistrial. If it would have taken longer to get the evidence than it would have been to get through trial, and needless to say, everybody has a right to a speedy trial, and that's why all the evidence needs to be present. And you need if you're going to charge me, we need to be able to go to court, and we need to get this done so I can leave here not guilty. Well, if you take all that evidence in and you don't have your evidence well enough, well, you can really fuck it up for yourself, prosecutor wise. And, you've got the case of, double jeopardy and things like that. So in a sense, that's another safeguard. But I actually hadn't thought about the idea of grand jury before just now, but it's also a possibility of what could have happened. They charge him, it's placed on CaseNet. If it's thrown out, it's removed from CaseNet, expunged, because there's no reason for it to be there. No charges went through. No charges were prosecuted. Yeah. Just like if somebody was found not guilty, it disappears from CaseNet because they didn't do it. So, anyways, that's what I came across, and I thought it was interesting. I really want to talk about it and get that information up and share the evidence if we had it. But this is what we're doing instead, because this is how it's turning out. The charges aren't there. Doesn't mean they won't pop back up too.
Well, I mean, let's say that it doesn't pop back up. So then, would he get in trouble for? I mean, would he be able to sue for defamation?
His name's out there, so. I mean, it did somebody defame him. That's the thing. Could he?
That's what
in theory, yes. In theory, could he? Yes. But the article stating what a probable cause statement said. Would he have a case?
Yeah, and that's why
I don't think so.
That's why I'm saying no.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying because it's a probable cause. They're not saying definitively we believe this individual did this. It's hey, he potentially did this.
Yeah.
Is the only reason I think he won't be able to sue for defamation against the media that put that out there.
This is what statements are saying. So the fact is that they're saying that this is what's claimed. Now, there's no follow-up. It'd be nice if there was a follow-up, but news doesn't do that. Follow-ups are not attention grabbing. So they're not going to do them. But yeah, I could he? Yes. Would it win? Yeah, I really doubt it. Very unlikely. So, and that's kind of what
I think the best he would have to hope for in that particular case of a defamation lawsuit, like Hart brought up, is a settlement of some kind, and it probably wouldn't be a major settlement.
Exactly.
I would see maybe a 6-figure settlement, but even that is kind of stretching.
I think even winning one in this case would be unlikely, because all that happened was there were news stories. You can't First Amendment. So you can't really block that because it's just news and they're stating what happened and all that. And they didn't lie about anything. They just told a story about what somebody perceived. And if it's what somebody perceived, it's not defamation. It's facts. So there you have it. Could they? Yes, but not winning. Not winning. Anything else on that topic?
I just want to know a walkthrough of how that transpired.
I wish I could tell you more than what I just, what I went through, but that's all we have to go on.
Gotcha.
Likely, imagine this. You're at the gas station, you're at Quick Trip, that's where that was. You're at Quick Trip, at the counter. There's an argument about something, somebody may be stealing something, and the guy leaves. All right? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't steal something. But he left, so there's no proof of it. Comes back in, pulls a gun out, shoots the security guard. He takes it in the chest. He fires back, killing the guy. Now, that's all we know happened. Some stories state the guy dropped the weapon. Did the officer see him drop the weapon? Who knows? How long did he continue to shoot him? Did he shoot till the threat was stopped? That's what you go on. You shoot until the threat has stopped. When did the threat stop?
Another question I would have
like
is, was that security officer at the Quick Trip, which I know some Quick Trips do have security personnel working at them.
Almost all.
Was he not 100%,
a lot
but
of
most,
them. The ones I go
to. My question would be, was he like an off-duty officer that was a side gig for him, or was that his only job, or was he a retired officer? If that's the case,
stated. I can tell you that.
I saw that, and if he was a officer that's off duty and working a side job, I can see where the prosecuting attorney may have dropped it and gave him the qualified immunity situation.
That's possible too. But also
I don't know
if
we don't know that information. So.
If securities are authorized to act as officers, which they are security officers, and they have the authority of officers, why wouldn't they get qualified immunity in cases like that?
I think it's because they don't work for the
Yeah.
government.
Yeah, you're probably right. But also, I would assume that if it was found out that they worked for any department, and I'm sure plenty of research was done, I think it would be stated. I'm pretty sure they were just a security officer, and as all the security at Quick Trip I've seen is they are full-time security officers hired by Quick Trip. Doesn't mean they're not full-time police. In my time working full-time security, we had full-time officers that were also full-time police. It's insane, but it's possible. And those are the guys making less as a police officer than they're making as security. Those are cities that shouldn't have police departments. In all honesty, if you can't pay your officer a livable wage, you need to go ahead and contract out.
That would be Florissant. I mean, what?
They make a livable wage.
I don't think
Only reason
problem with that.
Only reason I say that is because I know when I worked at the Steak and Shake up there in Florissant,
and you watched me get pulled over and illegally searched.
Yeah, I did see that. But we started having issues on Friday nights and Saturday nights with teenagers coming in, dine and dash and starting fights and stuff like that. So they started hiring a Florissant police officer to come and sit at the Steak and Shake for a few hours, and so. That's why I say Florissant didn't pay enough, because these officers are now working as security.
Yeah, and honestly,
Florissant,
that's going to happen all the time, because you know what? They get paid well for that. Also, how awesome is it? Even if it's just, I mean, to say you're making what, $45,000 a year, that's going to be about $20 some odd an hour. You're making time and a half, so you're making $33, $34 an hour to sit at Steak and Shake.
45,000 is not 20 an hour. I know that from
I'm just kind of throwing a random number out.
45,000 is less than $20 an hour.
Is
$20
it really?
an hour is yes. $45,000 a year is less than 20. If you want to make $20 an hour, it is 47.5, and you have.
Damn. Right.
Only reason I know that is a situation with my work. I had
what you want
to see. I can't actually. I legally can't. I have individuals that work under me. I saw what they were making. I saw what they were making per hour, and that changed recently for them. And I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy.
Fair enough. All right. Anything else on this one though?
That Steak and Shake is not there in Florissant anymore.
Oh yeah.
No, it's a Freddy's now, and that Freddy's is about as good as the Steak and Shake was.
Are there as many complaints about the line as there is at the one in Wentzville?
I believe so. So I had to pick up my oldest nephew from school Thursday, so yesterday. He goes to school out in St. Charles County at the community college. I took him up to his mother's house, which is my old house up in Florissant, and to pick up some stuff because he was coming down here to stay with me and my parents for a few days. And we stopped at Freddy's on the way back, and we went through the drive-through. It was a 35-minute sit in the drive-through. So yeah, they're just as good as they were when they were Steak and Shake.
Fair enough. You want to scoot it along to the next one?
I mean, is it the same people working there from Steak and Shake?
No,
I doubt it. No, completely different company. Completely different.
Yeah. So next one, which one are we talking about? Is this the actual police officer shooting in St. Louis?
Yeah. So this one's
you have to explain on this one because I'm not familiar with this one.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, if I should be explaining it just as well for anybody who's not familiar as those that are. If I'm not, you let me know. Let's go ahead and which are we on? So I got to look down at my Stream Deck and see what button I'm pressing. There we go. Let's bring it up. From KSDK, St. Louis County Police Officer in urgent need of mental health treatment following shooting at children's Halloween event. Now, those familiar with the area will recognize. Those who are not will not. But a St. Louis County police officer agreed Tuesday in court filings that he's in urgent need of mental health evaluation and treatment following allegations that he fired at least a dozen rounds into the air during a children's Halloween event in Kirkwood. Now, obviously, this was right around, it was a trunk or treat right around Halloween. Matthew McCullough. So if we go ahead and take a look at that name, those familiar with the criminal justice system in St. Louis will recognize the name McCullough because that is the name of the prosecuting attorney for years.
Former
McCullough,
prosecuting attorney.
former, yes. And like I said, for years, he was well known. He was well respected. I want to say was. He is well known. He is well respected. And I'll be honest, continues to be a respected, member of just the community in general.
Even after all of this?
This is his son.
The author, yeah, I was going to say.
This is his son.
Oh, okay.
So did enter a not guilty plea according to this. His attorney entered a not guilty plea. He's 39 years old. Let's see. 11 charges against him, include 5 counts of armed criminal action, 4 counts of first-degree endangerment in the welfare of a child, 1 count each of unlawful use of a weapon, and second-degree terrorist threat. $500,000 cash-only bond. Bond is
if
one
I
of
remember
those.
correctly, it was because he wasn't allowed access to his children because he was threatening or something like that to his wife, and that's another reason that he
Quite
He only has to
possibly,
pay-
and we talk about that in a
Right.
minute. What's that? No.
He only
That's
has to pay
cash
10%.
only bond. If it states cash only, you have to pay that full amount, cash or check.
Damn.
So that's hard money coming out of your pocket. And in fact, I think in some states, in some situations, that's okay. But I think cash only is overused. Or sorry, not cash only. I think there's just a whole issue with the way people are being bonded. They're being allowed 10% cash when I don't think that should be allowed. I think somebody should have to post up that 10% for them, guaranteeing they'll show up in court. Sorry
also,
about the
if you have a high enough bond, in my opinion, I think you should also be required to wear an ankle monitor that if you cut off is another charge.
Hey, and honestly, that's something that should be, covered in court. And that sometimes is the case to have something like a monitoring system. Yes, I 100% agree. But let's take a look here. They claim he's not a flight risk, just something random that popped up. At this point, this is an old story. They hadn't released a possible motive, but let's go here. Moments before shots were fired, McCullough threatened a woman whose husband then shoved him to the ground. McCullough then stood up, lifted his shirt, exposing his gun and badge before pointing in the air and firing about a dozen times, according to how are we getting? How are people getting hired as cops that are end up doing this? Extremely questionable. It makes me wonder, and maybe it could be that situation where there's no way to really see the future, see what's going to happen with somebody. But how people like this are getting into working as a police officer, somebody this unstable, and you see it all the time. You see videos all the time of that's it's.
Are they checking the mental health of these people?
You could. How much can you do with that? How can you do that? What is a mental
From
health
what
check?
I remember, they do a mental health evaluation where you sit with a licensed psychiatrist of some kind, and they have a conversation with you. They don't ask you a question, but they have a conversation with you to determine your mental capacity when you first get hired on. After that, unless you go to one, they don't ask again.
I
That's
think.
not gonna help.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
not-
is there anything that's really
Anything-
gonna help? Honestly, I don't see anything reasonable that's going to. Because I filled out whenever I start working security, I filled out a questionnaire, and it's things asking, do you see giraffes with purple spots? I mean, it's a questionnaire. It's got like 200 questions in it or something ridiculous like that. You're just going through. If even what the fuck. So where it's just it doesn't. I don't really see many reasonable options outside of what they're probably already doing. They're doing interviews, they're doing background checks, they're doing all kinds of things. If they're able to find it on record, they're going to find it. Anytime I was going for police jobs, the only things during background checks that were brought up was shit that was on Facebook. It's like, can you explain this? I'm like, it's a picture. Can you explain this? It's a picture. You tell me where and when? Yeah, it's here and then, maybe around about. Okay, cool. And all it was things that may have been possibly related to illegal activity, graffiti and shit like that. I was taking pictures of graffiti because it was cool looking, then making it a background of something. Like, oh, okay, cool. All right, and what's with this? It's a picture of suppressor. Is it yours? No. Okay, cool.
A way I could see them potentially having a fix for police, and this would just be across the nation, in my opinion, is have a requirement that a police officer goes and speaks with a licensed therapist at least once a quarter, so every 3 months, just to see where they are at, if not more.
I'd say, especially for larger departments, that would almost be unreasonable. I'd say maybe once a year.
Why would
Once
that
every
be
2
unreasonable for 3 months versus a year?
It's time consuming, and they're spending the money on all that. So that's public money. The public is then paying a lot of money for psychologists or psychiatrists to sit down with these people often. For a place like St. Louis County, how many officers are in St. Louis County? It's a lot of fucking money, because that's an hour each, maybe just to sit with them, and then maybe an hour or so for paperwork. So 2 hours per every quarter. That is a shit ton of money. And I
agree. It's a lot of money, but
it is.
I think it would make a vast difference.
If you think that's reasonable.
No, I think, I think it's reasonable for them to do that, because you're going to spend that kind of money in the back end, especially if there is a problem that results from the officer not having mental health.
I mean, I can agree with that, but
that money's going to be spent anyway.
Yeah, but I'm also going to say, how long is it going to take somebody to react from a mental health issue? Is it going to be 3 months? Is it going to be 6 months? Is it going to be a year? Is it going to be multiple years? I think mental breaks happen slowly over time. So so long as you can say, hey, we've had somebody talk to them within this amount of time, I think that's reasonable. So I think I think a broader amount of time is reasonable, both, I'd say, we'll call that ethically, both monetarily. So fiscally, you're being fiscally conservative by doing so. Because honestly, that's one of the biggest issues. I'd love for the police system, the school system, all these systems that are important in people's lives, to be able to give them everything they need, but that's not fiscally reasonable. So, I mean, I'm just trying to cover it on multiple ends. I would disagree with anybody that would say mental checks every so often can be ignored. No, I think it's probably something that should be checked, be it for the officers, the captains, the sergeants, the chiefs, the sheriffs, the constables, everybody.
I just believe that when it comes to you're talking about a year check and versus 3 years, or sorry, 3 months. That's not gonna.
3 months is often. Now,
1 year is ridiculous. That's
also. You are affecting the way people react to that check. If they have a check once a year, it's less of a deal. If they have to go sit down with somebody who's going to ask them annoying questions every 3 months, they're going to start despising that person, and they're going to stop seeing results.
Not
I think
necessarily.
So, because these are people who are probably don't want to be there because they know if this person says anything negative, and they're going to be out to get them. They are the HR. They are the IAD, the Internal Affairs Division. They're going to look at them like that.
That's a perspective based on.
And I tell you what.
Come on, 1 sec. That's a perspective based on the individual and the company, and also not only the companies, but you're obviously not putting out the right message. If you're an employer and then your employee feels as if they're not safe even talking to you about problems, what makes you think they're going to talk about the big problems?
Well, think about this, and this is a classic idea. Internal Affairs has been known, their only job is to take officers off the street. Good cops, bad cops, they all think the same about it. Now, of course, bad cops are going to really, really hate them even more. But thing is, they know these guys are out to get them, and they're going to corner them every chance they can get.
I understand, but I also
one negative experience, they never want to deal with them again. So they're going to already know that these people are, in a sense, they will have something to do with them being removed from their spot. So there's going to be a negative connotation of dealing with them, regardless how it is. Making
but I'm
that
challenge
less,
on this point.
right? But making that less times per year, or less times per whatever, it's going to change the way they feel about them. But go ahead.
Sure, but I'm going to challenge you on this point, because the thing about this is, to become a police officer, you have to choose to be that in that job field. Not only do you have to choose to be in that job field, you have to be physically fit, you have to be physically mental stable to begin with. Now, just like every other job, it wears and tears on a person. So the issue with that is, they're going to need to download onto somebody some of the issues that all officers deal with is negativity all day long. When they deal with somebody, the chances, the probability of the person being negative is very high. It doesn't necessarily mean that person is going to be, they're going to look at all officers as a saint. It just means that everybody's on high alert. And if people are on high alert, that causes a lot of stress. Stress comes to trauma. Trauma becomes, I can't sleep at night. So now that leads to accidental shootings, or
this wasn't accidental. It's something else. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, I get that point. I get that point. But I'm just making a point that either way, because your argument for this is the cost factor of the public paying too much, and my argument to that is you're still going to spend that on the back end anyway.
Yeah. No,
I actually think that the public would be okay with that cost, because it would potentially stop a bad apple from doing something wrong. And the other reason I said 3 months is because you can kind of become like friends with that therapist. You go and see them every 3 months, and then that therapist can see, okay, they're changing a little bit. Once a year, it's very impersonal. Yes, it would save a lot of money once a year for the police officers, but it's very impersonal, and it would be a lot harder, in my opinion, for a psychiatrist or psychotherapist or whatever you want to call them to see that change of that officer's. Yeah,
because they have to follow a trend. They have to see there's no way your data as a counselor, whatever, on the other side, you're going to have insufficient data. Your data is not going to be reliable enough for you to even be helping that person even do better. You wouldn't have enough data to even know where to properly diagnose a person if they're even having a problem.
Sure.
So of course, I was right.
Okay.
So that means if this person comes in and he's already having trouble with whatever, and he's not telling that person every 3 months, he's telling them every year, a lot can happen in 2 minutes.
Well, Now we've bumped into a few issues here from my perspective. Well, we've gone from doing mental checks to giving a therapist. Now it's actually their job to monitor these people throughout their career. And not only that, but these specific people that they're going to be having these issues with, or they may be having issues with which are usually the root to a need of therapy, are people they're going to be talking, the people that they're going to be discussing with the therapist are the people that the therapist also sees, which now becomes a conflict of interest as well. So you could go from this to, and I mean, there's no guarantee with this, but this is an issue spread across. But I think any mental health should be pretty much without limit covered by insurance, which allows them to seek their own. But now the department loses control of that. Now they'd have to be seeing their own. Now they'd be seeing their own therapist at their own choice, which I think would be a good idea and hopefully recommended. But the department has no The department has no business even reaching into that unless the therapist reaches out saying this person is a danger.
Right, and but you're saying that you're presenting that as a problem, and to me, that's not a problem. And the other thing I want to ask you on this subject here is define monitoring, because when you said monitoring a person, what is your definition of monitoring an officer? If an officer is distraught or whatever, define what you mean by monitoring.
Well, what we're suggesting is having a party capable of diagnosing or providing some sort of mental health. You have a person overseeing the mental health.
Small child alert. Small child alert.
Yeah. Overseeing the mental health in a work capacity of an individual doing a job.
Right. So
as designated by that job.
Right, but even within that definition that you just gave me, there's some variance. There's some variances there within that, because
it's not a personal health thing that has to be separated from a personal health thing, because that's a legal issue.
Right. So I'm saying when it comes to talking to the person, the therapist or the counselor, whatever they choose, that person's not checking on them as if they're a child. It's not a I'm checking on you and making sure you're doing everything like you're naughty or light or nice list. This is not that type of.
Doesn't mean they're not going to look at it as that way, because they have to see that person.
And see, okay, well, that's your perspective though.
Yeah, they have to see that person. They're not allowed to pick their own. They're not allowed to go out. Now, if there was some way to do that, but once again, that's a lot of issues built into that because of laws, health laws.
Okay.
HIPAA specifically. Right. So,
sure.
I mean, those are my biggest arguments. And I just, I would assume somebody's not going to want to have to go sit with somebody for an hour every 3 months to talk about the same things. It gets annoying. It gets tiresome. It's kind of like sitting in HR for once every so often. No, you spread that out. It becomes more and more reasonable, and people are going to react differently in their own minds. And they're not just going to start feeding them some line of bullshit, which is what I would expect. You start seeing some. You have to go sit in this person's office every the first of every third month and listen to them ask the same question, and you start feeding them bullshit. And you know what? If you start feeding them bullshit, can they do anything about it? No, they're just going to say, "I just got the same answers at them before," and hey, yeah, that's no reason for any response. Can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Well, I see your argument on that. I mean, but that happens even so. Like, if you look at situations where court-ordered therapy happens for an individual who may be going to jail or anger management. Comparison. I mean, but you always, and I know this is more movie, magic kind of situation, but you always see it in the movies and TV shows and stuff like that, where eventually the person just gets frustrated and breaks down and does start working into the therapy. Sure. I know that's not how it's going to work in real life with officers going into that situation, but I could see that as a potential.
Yeah.
But I just think that this whole doing a mental health, I wouldn't even call it a mental health check. I would just call it a check-in, like, hey, how are you doing? Kind of
right. Is what I would call it. And that's why I said, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's why I said it really depends on how it's presented.
Well,
right? And how you present is what's going to set the tone, because perception is reality. So for most people. So if you go ahead.
It did give me an idea, which would make me veer more towards a more frequent. But if there were specific contractors, just like there is in court-ordered bullshit, where they can select one of these contractors, one of many, that way. And this is an important part. That way, that therapist or mental health expert is not dealing with multiple other co-workers of this individual. That's very important. You'll see a lot of therapists, if it's not group therapy or family therapy, they will not see a relative of this an immediate relative, husband and wife. If I'm seeing a therapist, my therapist won't see my wife unless they're doing therapy in a group, because they are not going to start taking sides, and they're not going to let their subconscious interfere with what they're stating, because they're getting one story from one person, one story from another. Now that's what therapy. That's actually, but that's also psychiatry. They're going to work in the same way. You are kind of poisoning what you're working with, because you're going to give it. Are you just listening, or are you doing a discussion?
Well, no, you listen. Well, it's both. You're listening to. You're listening
because if you're not having a discussion, may as well have them fill out a piece of paper.
You're listening to it's both. You're listening to understand. You're listening to break down what their perception is, and you're there to reconstruct what their perception is, so they can have a better understanding, and then you diagnose on top of that. Now, I'm not a counselor. I'm just speaking from the experiences that I have had from or have as a 36-year-old man, going through counseling myself. So I know that a counselor should not be picking sides. However, I consider it a bad counselor if they can't, if they that's no different than seeing multiple people and then getting people crossed up. It doesn't matter if that person is my wife or they're my friend. And if there's a situation, that counselor should know how to be able to have a conversation, figure out what needs to be adjusted, present the adjustment to the person in a manner that person can understand, and then that person has a better output, and then do the same thing for the other person. If they're blurring lines, that's not a good counselor. That's not a good therapist. That's not a good.
I get it, but I also think a good therapist or counselor is going to try to put up as many. They're going to try to section things off, and even so that they can't even subconsciously do it, because everybody does things subconsciously. I think avoiding that would be best. Fair. And definitely, if you're dealing with a whole police department, you are now becoming part of that, or even just a large section of. But 100% think, and I don't care what fucking business it is, I think whenever healthcare is provided, I think there is way too little mental health care provided by many different places. I've dealt with, limitations in a lot of places I've dealt with. If I've gone for therapy, the wife's gone for therapy, very little coverage, and that's a common issue across this country, and it needs to be fixed. Mental health is a huge issue, and I think it needs to be provided more often.
And that's exactly what's being right. You took the words out of my mouth. Nobody's putting enough emphasis on the mental health, and that's why there's so much now. People are putting a push. And to be honest with you, I know I'm getting off a little bit of a subject here, but it needs to start happening at an earlier age, like in high school. Like the counselors in high school need to start. It needs to be more involved.
I think one of the issues with high school, what kind of background do these guys have in actual counseling? I remember sitting in one counselor's office just because it was the regular visit with them once a year, and just trying to get over the overwhelmingly bad stench of unwiped ass, and just wanting to get out of that office. And they look at, all right, let's look at your school. All right, how's everything going? Everything's good. All right, get the fuck out of here, kid.
And wouldn't it be made?
Does it? Sure. And I went to a great high school, but I tell you what, the counseling was not really there. In some cases, there are some people that went out there, but it wasn't the counseling you should have in those situations. When you come to mental health situations, school counselors, if they don't have any background in mental health, they need to step back and say, let's do something else, and that needs to be available. And I don't even know if that's a school thing, if that's outside a school thing, whatever. It needs to be there. Go ahead.
There's a problem with this, and this is something that I learned recently. We have, as a country, an epidemic of short shortfall of psychiatrists, counselors, and stuff like that across the country.
Is it
And
of
so,
them? Is it just the availability of them, or how easy it is to get a hold?
They're just not going into the field.
Okay.
There's not enough people going into the field, and that's a major problem. So I agree.
It's interesting
with
because that's a
Hart
huge
that we
interest
should-
of
we
mine.
should-
But who's going to pay
we should
hundreds of
definitely
$1,000s to be underpaid and sit
Yeah.
and listen to people?
Well, the issue that I'm sorry, go ahead, Brow, because you were speaking.
Well, no, I was
I
going
just
to
wanna
say
say
I
it
agree
one
with
more
Hart that
time.
we need it.
New
we
riff, delicious, smooth. Go on.
we need to have more counselors in schools, and I would say
You're my counselor.
I wouldn't say start in elementary. Have the counselors start talking to children because they're in my opinion just a little too young for that situation.
Right. Not
I would say like maybe 7th, 8th grade would be the earliest to have them start talking to somebody.
Post puberty or just like late puberty.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good. That's a very good point.
I was actually going to say 6th grade, but
That's still
that's
early to that's mid. Yeah, that's right
But
around that range.
the last
can
point
disagree.
that I'm going to make, and my last point to this, and I know I kind of derailed.
I love how
the-
this cop just leads to mental health.
Well,
Hey,
really,
It's essentially what the story turns into.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
After you get done with your point, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the cop thing.
That's cool. I'll make it very quick. My only thing is, they're in high school. Those are guidance counselors. They're only
It's
meant
true.
to guide a student to the next level, which is college. Okay, they're not really meant. I'm talking about high school.
They
By the
could
way,
have just filled
They're
out
not-
my fucking, gave me A's and just kicked me out the door. I'd fucking appreciate that.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Been a lot better from than my 3.1 GPA. I don't know. 2.7.
secondary
I
job.
don't know.
The issue is that the secondary job is actually trying to perform the duties of somewhat of a counselor, and because that's not primary, that's where we get the lack of
And I mean,
behavior of I don't give a fuck.
and at the same time, I know that's what was the reason in fact, at one point my mother stepped in. Now my mother did work at my high school, so she knew people well. But at one point she stepped in, pulled me from one counselor, and put me in the hands of a counselor she knew better, because she knew he did a better job, and that was
Right.
to deal with guidance and with classes and communicate with my teachers because of my fucked up brain. Somebody had to be able to,
no, it's
handle
not
me.
fucked
Oh, it is.
Pause. It's not. It's just. No. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, Spur. And here's the thing. It's just that you just think differently. That's the difference.
I have a mental disease as well.
You know what?
Seizures are
he's
not
talking about his
normal.
ADHD. Oh,
No, that's seizures.
I thought you were talking
se-
about your ADHD.
Seizures were a big problem in high school. Not anymore, thankfully. But no, there was ADHD and all that. That was all dealt with as well. Now, in high school, I did see a out of school counselor who was smart enough to understand what a petit mal, as they called it then. Now it's a complex partial seizure is. Recognize it, understand how to explain it, and make a suggestion of a neurological visit, which is how I was diagnosed mostly properly medicated and moved on. And then over time, that medication had to be adjusted, and here we are. But yeah, I mean, actually, that was probably one of the best things I had in high school, was an out of school counselor who I saw often enough that they would see this. And he was actually it was very odd. I tell you, it's very odd being told, well, this is a small count. He works out of his home. You have to go around the backyard, enter through the back door of the garage, go into the kitchen, make an immediate left, go down the steps into his basement where you wait, and then he'll bring you into his office where you'll... So fucking weird. But
it sounds like you were being sent to a child molester's house.
It so does. It so does. And of course, with it being a therapist for somebody who's 16, they're going to sometimes ask some questions about sexuality. But I have to say,
Do I need to pull out a doll and say, were you touched?
I have to say, this is for such a weird situation. You go into a situation like, and the guy couldn't have been more professional. He was helpful. He
was professional, but he was at his basement. Okay.
Hey, those videos of
taught me
Spur
what a
back then
rusty
are really
trombone
good for
was.
Hold up. Let's check this out. Hold
Oh God, what's he?
Oh no, does it?
Oh fuck.
Oh, he's got.
Oh, did you have a Sonic doll? Really?
Do you want to know? You want to tell me where he touched you? Was it right here? Was it right here? Was it right here?
Were you talking to your therapist while wearing a shirt or without a shirt, Spur?
Was it right here?
He told me how to get undressed for it. All right, no. So let's go ahead and rewind. Like I said, very strange going into it, but he was an awesome guy. He was old. He sat there and did this a lot while he thought. But
Did you need water?
he
I got
probably
water.
did. I think he needed water. But
Would you like some water?
no. He paved the way for the diagnosis, and is he full now? All right,
good.
So he paved the way for the diagnosis, and no, actually, he's really professional, helpful, and he basically got to the point where, like, whenever we got through anything there was, which really was the epilepsy, he's like, do you feel like you need to keep seeing me? I don't know. It's just like, well, if you don't know, then you don't. Then I'm going to assume you do. And whenever it got to the point where it's like, no, I don't need to see. All right, that's what I'm. Whenever I report back to your parents, saying I don't need to see you anymore because I'm comfortable, you're comfortable, we'll end it. So it was really ended up being a great thing. I'm sure the guy's dead now. So.
Oh damn!
He was old. I was 16. He probably ran a practice for a while, and he's like, "Fuck that office. I'm gonna run it out of my basement and creep people out."
And that's probably why he needed water, because he was drying out.
Let's move back to this to Mr. McCullough here. It's Mr. Who did we say? Matthew McCullough. I'm not going to display the case net on the screen, but let's see. Grand jury indictment, arraignment.
If he had a snip, it would have disappeared or turned to dust.
He was reassigned to Division 8. I don't know what Division 18 is. It's the same circuit.
I think that's more of a mental health circuit court.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, that may be all right. That would actually be a that makes sense. Last I've seen was 12-6.
My assumption would they are going to send him to a mental health facility.
That makes sense.
Get him evaluated and see if he is mentally capable of a trial, and if he's not, then they will say he is. They will remand him to that mental health facility for a set determined amount of time. Usually, it's until the professionals there feel that he is better, and at which case then they would take it out of that mental health court and move it over to an actual court. And more than likely, if he is found guilty of his crimes, which obviously he was witnessed by multiple people, caught by the police doing what he did, they will say, okay, you're guilty, you're you're sentenced to this amount of time in jail with time served of the X amount of time, and he probably would be let off and free after that. But that's only if a mental health professional assesses that he is
before
better
things even
and could stand a trial.
Yeah, before things even get to that point with this, I would honestly expect to see a plea deal. But last thing I see is motion to modify bond, and that was 12-6 in there. That's a couple days ago. So obviously we haven't seen back from that yet. So I'm sure they'll respond to the motion to modify, and I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped it or something due to behavior or whatever. But whenever I go ahead and I look, I see in charges on 10/16, adult abuse without stalking. Those are the charges. On 11/8, I see criminal infraction, and that is the updated charges which I just read from. On 10/16, the same date as that adult abuse without stalking, that is when that case was originally filed, and then I'm assuming I'm going to click on it. Docket entries. Oh, 11/8. Oh, wow, that's in a whole other charge. Okay, so there's a whole bunch more to this. Where's the public in attendance to the bond review here? Okay, this one's there's a whole bunch more on there, but it's the same bond and everything. So we've got 2 actual cases. Okay, so there's information on that, which then moves you which then refers you to the following charge placed on 11/8 last month.
Yeah.
Okay, so the initial charge was filed. There were things entered on it. Then they went ahead and updated to a new charge, new case number, I should say. And then we've got motion. And then we've got a divorce. All right. So he is slapped with that divorce.
Live?
What's that?
Is that a live divorce? Meaning was that just put in?
That was that was put in. I'm just looking at that was early this year.
More than likely, and
there's a modification. Okay, that's why it's shown up differently. There's a motion to modify that on 10/19.
The divorce?
Yeah. It's a motion to modify. Sorry. So the divorce, its case was updated with a new case number. So something changed, which led them to do that.
Would be that shooting situation.
Yeah. So it looks like the divorce. Initially that case was started 3/21. Then there was some. Let's see, abuse without stalking 10/16. Then 10/19 was the motion to modify that, and then there was the shooting, and it's just a mess for this guy. But obviously, this all initiated with a divorce, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear where a lot more
it's
of
probably
it
not
began.
It's probably a very contentious divorce between the two of them, and that added to the mental issue. And I don't know. I haven't looked deep enough into it. I don't know if he had children. And his wife, or his soon-to-be ex-wife, was at that trunk or treat event in Kirkwood with his children, and this is me completely assuming everything at this point, that he didn't have access because of that abuse to his children. They had some sort of restraining order or protection order against him, and so he went there to try to probably interact with his children or yell at his soon-to-be ex-wife. And things escalated. I know he got his ass kicked by people that read that.
He got fucked up.
When they first announced that, because I remember watching that news story with family, and after, I think it was like that night after it happened, they mentioned on Fox 2, I want to say it was, that people at that event had tackled him and beat the tar out of him.
Yeah.
And like I said, in that picture, you can see obviously it did happen, but they said, I think they said someone tackled him and they pummeled him a few times to get the gun away from him.
You're taking somebody down with a gun, without a gun. I mean, honestly, in that situation, he's pretty lucky somebody just gonna pull a gun out and pop him.
Right.
And I know you got to look. It's you're on school, or you may be on school property or not.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I know from experience that most of the time they're on a school ground.
Yeah, and it's not illegal for somebody with a concealed carry license to carry a gun on school ground, but it's not permitted. So you're in those gray areas, and I mean, it'd have been a bad situation any way you go. This is probably the best ending for him you can think of.
Oh, this is the best inning for a lot of people because thankfully he only shot
Oh yeah,
up,
absolutely.
which is still extremely dangerous because
Very.
what goes up must come down.
Yeah,
But it's better that he fired the firearm upwards instead of down at somebody because let's say hypothetical here. Let's say he was trying to shoot his wife now or soon to be ex-wife, and he misses her, and
struck
he
somebody else or a kid.
child. That's it. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, him getting his ass kicked and no one getting any major injuries is the best case scenario.
Yeah, definitely
for everybody involved.
But hey, since we can't talk about charged lemonades, let's talk about Browse Horse Sister. I mean, I need to get an intro for this shit.
Yeah.
All right.
That's overdue.
Apparently,
I
one of my
tried working
topics
on
is
one.
J. I somehow hit a comma and then pressed J and then hit comma again.
Good job.
Thanks.
So, for those of you out there that are newer to this podcast, I have a sister. It's my older sister. I have two sisters. I have an older sister and a younger sister. Younger sister I like. My older sister, she is a whore. There is no two ways around it. She is a whore. And has been since she was in 8th grade in middle school when she started smoking pot and sucking every guy's dick that she could get a hold of. She was caught having sex in school on multiple occasions. She was caught having giving a guy a blowjob in my bed when I got home from football, my freshman year in high school. Well,
my bed by me.
No, I caught her in my bed with another.
No, that's what I was saying. She caught in your bed
bastard.
by you. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
This
I want
is-
to make sure that
this
people
is
weren't
not-
thinking the wrong
This
thing.
is not.
This is.
I
It's
don't
supposed to
even
be.
know.
It's supposed to be step bro, not bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Sister. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
The most recent update of my stupid whore of a sister. So I've told you guys about this in the past. She has a winning boyfriend that likes to beat her up and steal her money and her car and point guns at her and my mother and me and other people. Apparently he did point a gun at me. I didn't see it. If I would have, he would not be here at the moment because I would have fired it.
What? Okay, go ahead.
I found that out from my sister more recently. So, the update on her is again the winning boyfriend beat the tar out of her, stole her car, didn't actually steal the car, stole her keys to her Cadillac SUV that she has, and he then went back to the home with a friend, put a gun to her head, though she won't admit this to police officers. She was essayed by him and his buddy.
What do you mean by
she
essay? I don't know what that means.
He's like,
Sexually
what's up,
assaulted.
essay? Oh, assaulted. He's like
Oh,
your
what the
friend,
fuck?
your essay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She won't
Really?
admit it, but it's what my niece told me. He also put a gun, and my niece, who is 17 years old, pointed a gun at my niece, and my niece called the police and attempted to get a restraining order put it against him. But that my whore of a sister, her mother, said, "No, we're not going to do that." The dumbass who
I thought
has
you could-
on many occasions.
There's an age restriction on that?
No, but since she is 17, she has to have a parent or guardian agree with the order of protection, unless my niece gets
Yeah, so that means
vaccinated or turns 18.
So
Yeah.
that means yes, there is a restriction.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to a degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this time, she swindled my father out of $1,000 for a used Chevy Impala. And when we say she told my father that the Chevy Impala was barely used by an elderly woman, had less than 2,000 miles on it. Well, my dad decides, okay, yeah, we can get that car for my oldest nephew, his oldest grandson, so that he can have a way to get to and from work and to and from school, the community college he goes to. Only to find out that the individual selling it was a friend of the dumbass boyfriend of, my whore sister. Obviously thinks he must be telling the truth. So my dad gives her $1,000, buys it. The Impala has been impounded because it was used for trafficking drugs. So, just continuing on with her dumbass horror-ish. She was caught recently, I think, by her youngest son. My horse sister was caught by her youngest son with multiple men in her bed. Talk about scarring a 14-year-old boy. Mommy, what are they doing? Yes.
So mommy was playing with
Mommy was learning the alphabet when they were stuck on H.
mommy was playing with Channel 9, a whole bunch of boys. It was the Food Network, bro. It was all men. Yes, the big ass train. So were they all? So hold up. Were they all black? Because then if they were all black, then that would be a Soul Train. Get it?
I don't have that information. I don't have. I
can get away with that joke. You can't. But I just want to make sure.
What would you call it if it was a bunch of Latinos?
Oh shit! I can't get away with that. I can't say that. There's nobody that's Latino here, so I mean, fuck that.
Technically,
Nope.
I am Mexican.
Oh well, hey, hey. All I know is Casa Dorado and fucking Taco Bell. That's all I know about.
I've been looking for a reason to use this.
Let's come together.
Shit. Hit that
Oh
button,
shit!
please.
Oh,
Can I get it one more time, please?
I mean, no, but you can have this.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
oh my god!
I mean, how the fuck do you get around? I mean, seriously though, she done had so much
Some
dick.
people
There's
have
no
low
way.
standards.
Hey,
Oh my
I
god!
mean, if you enjoy throwing a hot dog down into a jumbo jet hangar, by all means, go call the whore.
At that point, a baby would just fall out. There's nothing.
What do you
Hey,
think
that's
of
like
the last
the women
one?
that have like 15, 16 children. I mean, they don't have labor pains anymore. They have, hey, where do I go? What's my room at? Who's putting my diaper on?
I mean, she pulls it out like a tampon. Just keep you see that? Just with string. Just
It's like
on that
oh,
note,
just like.
Hey, I think you have something coming out of you. Oh, I didn't even know I was pregnant this time.
You see that? It's coming out. Oh, look at that!
on that note,
Nasty ass. I can't believe you did that for your 14-year-old girl, son. Are you serious?
Shit. Hey, just because her uterus is a clown car now.
Well, my only thing is, speaking of cars, how many fucking cars did her pussy touch? I mean, her fucking.
Well, her
Can't take it
pussy,
back
I don't
now.
know. How many cars has she done dumb shit with? Let's see. We are up to 17.
God damn!
17 since she turned 16 years old.
Oh no!
that you know of.
Well, here's what's really great. So she's gotten better about maintaining her vehicles because when she first started driving, she didn't realize you have to change the oil
I think I remember
on
hearing about
four
that.
different cars.
I think I remember hearing about that.
I mean,
How many tempos
she
did she go
doesn't-
through?
No, I had the tempo.
Oh, you had the tempo?
I was the only one that
We
had
had
the tempo.
four,
So
maybe
my-
five. I can't
my
remember.
only thing
Do you
about
notice they
that
kept changing
is-
colors?
I only had the one tempo. No, I only had one ugly
Right.
green tempo that was I'm guessing had been in a car accident at some point,
But-
and what had a hinge in the middle.
Did you
The
ever?
only thing
Did you notice my tempos kept changing colors?
I didn't when you're at your parents' house when you
yeah,
were
we had
growing
like
up?
5 of them. Like one would break, my dad would just buy another.
that's ridiculous.
No, because
They
when
were
I was driving down
$500.
your street, I wasn't. When I was driving down your street, I wasn't looking at your house. I was looking at the house across from you, waiting for the snowballs to come at the windshield again.
Well, my only thing about this is you're saying that she doesn't know how to do oil
Blair can hear
changes.
sometimes.
But if she doesn't know how to keep her pH balance straight, of course she doesn't. Of course she doesn't know how to do oil changes because that's the same damn equivalent. I mean, pretty much. I mean,
but she's gotten better. She gets oil changes now. I mean, she sometimes buys tires, but most of the time it's my father that buys tires for the vehicle.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Like if she needs work done on a vehicle, it's Daddy, my car's broken. Can you help me fix it?
And on a serious note, why is your dad trying to save her every single time?
That's her. That's his princess. That's his firstborn child.
So she's what, Princess Peach? Because Mario
did everything I want.
She gets trapped by Cooper all the time, and then Mario has his fat ass that get out there, and I don't like Mario. This fat ass person coming out there and try to save Princess Peach every fucking video game. Is that what's going on?
Just about, yes. Like, well, here's what's really great. So, my mother told me this, that if my father were to pass before she is, my mother's will would take priority over my father's, and then when my mom passed away, my older sister gets nothing. Every asset my parents would own, if my father passes first, then my mother, would be transferred to my younger sister and myself, and my older sister would get the middle finger.
If you don't mind me asking, and I'm just asking because I'm out of concern for you, because she gonna get you killed if you. I can see her fucking putting you in a situation. I'm serious.
Oh no.
If you don't watch,
no contact with her.
Okay. Well, my only thing with you, my question is, do you know how she views you? Like, does she view you as the brother that is going to beat my boyfriend's ass if I call on him, or does she view you as?
Oh, no, not anymore. Not after. So the situation that happened that got her to not view me like that anymore was the same douchebag that she's with stole her car once, and she wanted me to chase him down on public streets during rush hour in my 2016 Ford Mustang, and I told her no. Right. And she's in my passenger seat of my vehicle crying about how this always happens to her. And I said, it's because you keep putting your stupid self in this situation. Right. Because like more recently, the douchebag, he was in jail. I don't remember what charges he was in jail for. It might have been drugs with intent to sell, or domestic violence. I don't know. But he was in jail for 6 or 8 months or something like that. And my sister that whole time's like, I'm not going to pick him up. I'm not
just look through it.
Well, that's just it. He goes by 2 different first names, and so.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's got 2 different.
You're a winner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so he was in jail for an extended period of time. My sister kept saying, "Oh no, I'm done with him. I'm not going to talk to him." Blah blah blah. Only for me to turn around and ask my nephew and niece. My nephews and niece, that, hey, has your mom talked to the douchebag? And they're like, oh yeah, every time he calls, she answers. And then he gets out of jail, and he needs a ride home, a ride to wherever he's going to be staying. And what does the dumbass whore do? She goes and picks his ass up and brings him home.
You know what? His dick must be so. Pause on this, but his dick must be good because she keeps going back to it. She keeps.
Or somebody has low standards.
Well,
or she has mental health issues and she needs to get them taken care of. All the above.
Fair. That's fair.
But yeah. So the whore has done more whore stupid things.
There you have it.
It's been quite amusing just to hear that.
So I was gonna go ahead and keep this one relatively short. Our Predators discussion. Brow, you start.
Predators discussion.
Predators was it you? We were talking about. Oh shit! What was it? You mentioned
your goddamn counselor. How about that?
oh, you're talking about the. You want me to bring up? Okay, now I remember. So you're talking about Nicholas Alaverde / Nicholas Rossi / Arthur Knight. This wonderful individual. Okay. He is. He's all the same individual. He has been charged in the U.S.
I think I recall
in Rhode Island specifically.
Okay.
So this individual, he was charged and found guilty of some sort of sexual offense. In the Wikipedia that I found of him, it doesn't say specifically what he was charged with.
Is the Wikipedia?
But he was charged.
Tell me the name of the Wikipedia page, the last name.
I posted in the PMS chat.
Okay, sounds
if
good.
you want to look in there. But yes, he.
Oh, I
he-
can't get into that one. Can you put it in the? Yeah, just read me the last name.
Well, the studio.
Olive Verde.
I lose
the
my
stu-
screen if I select that one.
The studio.
I typed in.
I
I
was gonna
typed
say-
in Google search. I typed in Arthur Knight, and it came up with this Wikipedia page giving all of his names. So he committed some sort of sexual
okay,
offense.
so the wiki here. Let me go ahead and bring that up because that's what I'm looking at now. But I do see Nicholas Rossi and Arthur Knight in there. Now that we've got
Yeah.
confirmation.
So
I know who
this-
you're talking about.
Yeah, he committed some sort of sexual offense, was charged, found guilty, and he was living in Rhode Island. He was going to be charged with another sexual assault, a case from 2008 in another state, but instead of doing that in 2020, he faked his death, moved to Scotland over in the Great Britain, and changed his name from Nicholas Rossi to Arthur Knight to avoid the case. Well,
Classy
in
name.
2020, yeah, he got COVID. He got COVID-19, and so he's going on he's obviously getting treatment for that in a hospital in Great Britain. And they discover, hey, Arthur Knight's not his real name. Nicholas Rossi may be his real name. The person that was trying to get charged with the 2008 sexual assault case. Then they discover, oh no, his name is Nicholas Oliverde. And the U.S. is like, hey, Scotland, we're allies. Please extradite this man. This man has gone on multiple TV appearances where he is being shown in a wheelchair with a breathing mask, a oxygen mask on, claiming that he is not Nicholas Rossi, his Arthur Knight. Him and his wife have been making this claim, and that he is very, very ill. He's claiming to have some sort of cancer. He's got COVID-19 still. He's paralyzed from something else. All these other crazy things. And so the British courts had decided that he should be extradited back to the U.S. And he's now appealing that in Scotland. And this is the most recent update I have on him. He showed up in a Scotland appeals court, tribunal court, so 3 judges. And he no longer has a fake British accent. He now has a fake Scottish accent. He is attempting to stay in Scotland, preventing them from returning him there. Saying now in his appeals, he's made claims that the people that the prosecuting attorneys that are trying to charge him in the U.S. for those sexual assault crimes and everything else that he's done are attempting to assassinate him because he is friends with Mike Pence.
Oh, perfect timing with the photo I just pulled up. 84 references on a guy. Like, how do you get 84 references and you're not otherwise famous? This guy's famous for his mental health issues he has. He hired as a legislative page in the Rhode Island House of Reps. Okay, so that's where he got some political alliances. Oh man. Holy shit.
Yes, it's kind of amusing how I found out about this case. Originally, I found out via TikTok. It became famous on there, and so I started looking into it, and it's just hilarious. There's multiple accounts that are following his case on TikTok, and they're just like, this guy is very obviously Nicholas Rossi. He's not Arthur Knight. Arthur Knight doesn't exist. They have no birth record of Arthur Knight. They have no citizenship record of Arthur Knight in the United Kingdoms before 2020. And this guy is saying, no, I've always been Arthur Knight. He has no employment record as Arthur Knight in the UK. And it's like, you've made this person up, and you're now trying so hard to stay here. You didn't go to the correct country if you didn't want to be extradited back to the US.
Yeah, bad choice
idiot.
there. All right. Keeping my promise of keeping the Predator talk relatively short. Lockhart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You goddamn counselor. Anyway, so there's an individual that's going to remain.
Yeah, there's an
remain
individual.
nameless.
There's an individual.
Yeah, individual. Yeah, that seemed to be. Let's put it this way. Seems to be pretty much got caught up in a internet fiasco where his computer somehow got hacked and some interesting things showed up on his machine. Okay. And with that person ends up going, obviously getting caught, getting his stuff confiscated, and there's a case, and the case ends up where he ends up being found guilty. And the sad thing about it is that, I guess he thought that he would never get caught. And the thing about that is eventually the truth comes to light, and I just, how would you all feel if you knew someone, anybody, boy or girl, that thought that it was okay to be looking at underage children and being okay to distribute it and think it's not a big deal, and then not wanting to pay your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. I'm saying whatever because you could be gay. I don't know. It's not my business. It's your business. What how would you all feel about that? I'm just curious. Like, what would you all land with that? Because if you're not paying attention, if you're not paying attention to your partner, but yet you find out that your partner is doing things that are not ethical.
They're a kitty diddler, or like to watch.
There
kitty
you go.
diddlers.
There, I think that's more or less where it was going.
Very simple. It's called in the relationship.
Time to go.
Well, and then let me add one more layer to
Let's
the fire.
say time to go, but quicker than you think you can.
Okay, so let's add another layer to it. Let's say there's now children involved of your own with the partner.
Let's go.
Whether you adopted them, whether you adopted them or you had them by naturally.
Time to go quicker.
Look at that.
Well, let me restate
you no
my
longer
first
have
statement.
access to said children because you like to watch children be diddled or diddle them yourself.
Gotcha. So, what would you say to the partner that, regardless of what sex they are, the partner, if they're and also regardless of what type of relationship they are, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual or in between, whatever, what would you say to the person that decides to stay with them?
Nothing, because I'm gone.
No. He's not saying you are. Someone who's
okay.
a significant other is still with a kitty diddler.
The person that decides to stick with the person who has been found guilty.
Very simple. Either you make the correct decision to remove yourself from the kitty diddler's life, or I remove myself from your life because I do not like to associate with kitty diddlers.
Fair.
I basically along the same lines. I mean, I really have nothing to say. I'm not part of it, and I don't want to be part of it. See you later.
Right. Well, I will say this to answer my own question. I feel as if there are some, for a person to stay with somebody who has been found to be identified as that, I would say that that person themselves would need to see some serious counseling. Back to mental health again. This has been a mental health episode all fucking the whole
It
time.
has
I don't
been.
know why.
It really has been.
But my
because
point.
because that's a problem in the U.S. In
We've
this
talked about
country
the
right
need
now.
for
We-
it.
We have a mental health issue.
Sure. To both of you, it's just I'm amazed at the lengths of what a person will allow themselves to be, the level of delusional that a person will allow themselves to get to in order to feel safe in the home of someone who has now been identified, no matter if they're a woman or a man, because it can happen. It can be a woman, man, or a dog. Okay, that was a joke. I'm just, well, actually, no, it's not really a joke. Yeah. All together now, as that button said. Anyway, I just don't understand why a person would sacrifice that much of their dignity to want to keep something like that going.
Okay, I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Now,
Sure,
this
yeah,
is not my personal
That's what I want. I want to hear that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is not my personal opinion on this, but I know that individuals will stay with people that are harmful or destructive in some way, including, being pedophiles. They'll stay with those individuals because they're afraid to be alone. In women's cases, when it comes to they have children with a individual that is a pedophile, they are afraid to be alone with their children in that situation of taking care of their children alone, even if they do have a strong support system behind them, like their parents, their siblings, family members, and stuff like that will help take care of the children. The individual women specifically is what I'm talking about here. They will stay in that situation because they think that's all they are good for. That like the individual they are with is the best that they are going to get, and that no one will love them or take care of them because they have children. And I hate that is a truth that is out there, and I've seen it happen via my whore of a sister. But the only thing you can do as a outsider looking into that relationship is continually tell them up to a point. You need to leave this bad situation. You need to get yourself and your children into a better situation. But you can only say that so much before you just have to let the individuals fail and learn on their own. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's gonna hurt, especially if it's someone you care about. There's nothing you can do to sway them besides give them your opinion, have their families give their opinion on the situation, and the person that's in that situation with someone that has been accused and or found guilty of doing a horrible thing such as pedophilia, you can only do so much, and it's in their hands. And at some point, you just have to cut the cord because it's gonna cause you mental anguish.
And if they want to whoop you in the ass with a wooden spoon, just run away.
Well, sometimes I heard it was a paddle, but either
Was
way,
it a paddle? I think we're referring back to Steak and Shake again.
Oh God.
I know Brow got it.
Oh God. I don't even want.
We'll discuss it later.
Okay. Yeah. Something to miss there. So
I'm glad somebody got it at least though.
For me, it's something to miss. But
I don't know if you
thing,
ever caught wind of that one, but
I probably
you will later. You'll recognize it later, or at least you'll get it later.
Okay. All right. Well, my only thing is that I just don't understand because you two are smart individuals. You know, it's
Really?
been displayed on this podcast already. Shut up. This been displayed on this podcast already. You know that if you were in a relationship, because we're all men here. Paul, don't even do it. Don't do this. Don't do,
I'm glad you
Don't you
paused
fucking
at the end of that.
yeah. Don't you fucking do the joke. Because I already.
I honestly thought Spur
Because
was going
I
to hit
lost
that.
one
Are you
ability.
sure about that?
Yeah. Don't you fucking do the joke.
I don't have that
So,
one yet. I need to throw that in
yeah.
there.
Right. So I'm just saying, if you notice your partner, regardless of what type of relationship you're in, okay, none of us are gay here, by the way. Okay.
Where's that button?
Anyway, you would catch. Yeah, that's where it stops. For me, that's where it stops because I'm definitely not gay. Okay, no offense to anybody out there. You love who you love. That's cool. Do you? But I'm gonna do a woman. That's all I'm saying. I'm pro pussy. Anyway, all I'm saying is you would notice red flags before it even got to that point where the person gets that individual girl
hope so.
or male.
Really hope so.
You would notice. Well. If a person is not really paying attention to you, for an example, you're gonna be wondering, why isn't this person giving me sex? Why isn't this person not wanting to hang out with me? Why is this person not wanting to fucking eat dinner with me? Down to the point where you're gonna be like, why doesn't this person even say I love you to me anymore? What's going on? Why is he running, or why is she running to the playground all the time? What the fuck's going on? I made a joke there, but my point, you get my point.
I do, but like I said,
The playground. I didn't say anything else but playground. I said all kids play at the playground. We're talking about pedophilia. Yeah.
like I said, it's more in the case of women in this particular situation where they will look at it and be like, this is the best I can do, especially after having children. But it's not uncommon for it to be on the man side of, I'm not going to leave this bad situation because of the children. And it's not common for that to happen for men, but it does happen, and it's a terrible thing. And it.
Okay. Okay. Let's throw a hypothetical to you. Brow. Let's say you're with, I don't know. Let's just say a woman porn star. Okay.
Been there, done that.
Thank you. I was trying not to go there, but you went there anyway. I was trying to give you some props because you're a man. You getting sex. You getting banged. You just hitting it.
Hey, I've been on a slow slump right now. All right, it's been 6 months.
It's all good. Either way, you and her just getting it in, right? You just popping, just okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden,
Lockhart didn't realize what a sound gate was before he started clapping.
Shut up. Okay.
Properly working soundboard, and you try clapping in front of it.
Yeah, my fucking soundboard's not working right now.
No,
okay?
it's working. It's doing its job. It's got a sound gate, and it can't hear you clapping.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, now that we got that cleared, okay, back to Brow. Okay, so you guys. You took her to the whistle shop, and she's blowing the whistle. Okay, not the candy shop; it's a whistle shop. You blow the whistle. Okay. Now all of a sudden she's not blowing the whistle anymore. She's not puff and blowing anymore. What the fuck? Okay. And also in this scenario, you have kids with her. You have two daughters. Then you find out that this girl has been secretly on a laptop that she bought that you didn't know about, looking at little kids, looking at little girls playing with themselves. What are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do?
This
is your woman.
I would pull the ripcord and be out that situation. Take my children and leave. But I'm not the same as who I know you are speaking of, the individual you were speaking of. They won't do that again.
But her name's plastered all over the place. Not as porn girl. It is now the other P word. It is pedophilia. It is pedophilia.
Yeah, it's called,
Wish I had the
you
word.
pull the ripcord and you hit the ejectocito button and you get the fuck out.
Pedophilia. Pedophilia.
Well, actually, let me rephrase that. If it's a woman that is a pedophilia that I'm with, I may hit the ejectocito, but I may hit the. She fell down the stairs several times. I don't know how she got the shovel mark across her face.
She landed on a shovel. I mean, we kept it at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
But then if you do that, then the kids have no father. So then now what?
Oh well.
Hey, they got grandparents.
Damn. And we'll be back to you after these messages. Spur, take it away.
I mean, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna let it go at that. That's where that's where we're at. Let's go ahead and break it down a little bit first. Yeah, I mean, hopefully there's no fucking commercial. Oh, good, there's no commercial before this.
Didn't I just say we go to commercial break? What the fuck? Anyway, go.
Well, I mean, we kind of are.
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just got to go ahead and, bring this up because we're discussing, just something we step back from.
Lucia,
Sure.
do you know
You
why
know.
you're here? Bad luck, I guess.
And, we'll probably get muted because of the Tom Petty in here, but
Yeah, probably.
we get move the mouse out of there so it actually goes to the regular. I knew they knew they're going to include the Everglades. What I'm impressed by is how much of footage from Florida Rockstar was able to pull into this.
Well, I don't know if you know this. When it gets to it, all those
Call it
clips
out.
of
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. Somebody
like,
mixed
here,
them.
here we go. Let's
Right,
start
there's
here.
one there, and there,
Yeah.
and there. I don't know about that one. Right there too. I don't know about that one.
You're
There.
her ass.
Yeah.
So these are all based
Right
on
there.
actual events that happened.
Just they could have been just
back.
could have been viral video
Only
or
way
police footage
get
and
through
shit like
this.
that.
Is by sticking together.
That one too. That
Being a team.
Joker looking guy. That's the Florida Joker guy.
Yeah.
He's actually he's trying to retain a lawyer to sue
Trust.
Rockstar for his image.
Good luck. They're experts at dealing with that shit. So there's our.
So,
2025.
like I mentioned to Hart before we started our podcast today, there's a lot of alpha male types that are saying that the GTA 6 is going to be too woke.
Why? Because there's a
there
female
is
main
a-
character.
Well, the prevailing theory, and this is hilarious, it's a theory that the main female character is actually
lesbian.
transgender.
Oh, Oh, okay.
And so they're saying it's so woke because they put a woman in front and blah blah blah, and and then you got these other individuals who we haven't heard from in over 10 years because this is the first time Rockstar is going to put out a new GTA in over 10 years, because when it finally does come out in 2025, it will be 11 years, 3 video game console cycles before finally coming out.
Oh, is this some fucking code or something? Is this? Hold on. Let me call Alex Jones. Get him in here.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell me
Yeah,
all the
so-
frogs are going to turn gay after this game comes out. I mean,
First off, let me fuck you guys.
GTA
Fuck-
made all the frogs gay.
Yeah, well, here's. Wow, I tried to ignore that joke so I can say what I need to
This
say. but I
episode
couldn't.
brought to you by New Riff.
Hello, Fresh. Remember that? Remember that, bro, sister? Anyway, so all I want to say.
Sorry, this is the first button I saw and I pressed it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You weren't wrong.
That's
I mean,
true.
you're not wrong.
I'm like, it was
So-
relative. I'm like, hey, that works. Click.
So my issue with Rockstar is you motherfuckers took so much money from us. You should have been had this game out. You should have been had this trailer out. That's ridiculous. I don't know how many years I said, where is GTA 6 at? Where the fuck is GTA 6 at? I swear to God, if it don't come out with GTA 6 yet, I'm done. I'm done. This is ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I'm happy for it, but I'm also kind of mad because this should have been out 4 years ago.
I don't think they're on your. I don't think they're on your timeline.
I don't give a shit. I
don't think they do either.
Currently they don't care about anybody because all they did was here's shark cards. Here's shark cards. You got some more money? Here's some shark cards to buy. Oh no,
but they were making their scratch.
I mean, if you're making almost $1 billion every 6 months on a game, why wouldn't you keep putting shit out for that same game? And yes, you're right. This game, Grand Theft Auto 6, should have came out 5-6 years ago. Absolutely.
I'm gonna make you a
but here's what
put in there and then you're gonna buy it. What the fuck?
A former Rockstar executive or Rockstar executive coder or designer or something like that. I forget exactly. I saw this on Kotaku. He said that some of those shots that we saw in that trailer are in-game cinematics and or in-game action.
If it's in-game action, I'm highly impressed.
In that way. That's great. But my thing
usually
is
the first ones you get are cinematic only.
But besides the point of that is the game's going to be coming out for next generation consoles, which luckily we all have one right now.
Okay.
All three of us.
I was like next. If they're out now, I just wouldn't call them next. That's just kind of a confusing term. But current gen,
the most current gen.
Yeah,
you're right. Current gen, yeah, sure. But
I don't expect to see anything coming out for a long time with this as updated as these things are. We're finally to a point where things are settling.
Well, actually, they're already talking about Xbox.
Fuck me sideways.
Will be coming out with a new one in 5 years.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Nintendo should be announcing one next year that will be coming out in 2025. But theirs will be more of a major upgrade switch kind of situation.
That's fine.
Back to GTA.
Because just like GTA, I got confused because I didn't know what fucking console I wanted to put it on first. Okay? That's another joke.
The only one you won't be able to put it on is PC.
Okay, sure.
At least not for the first. But let's take a step back. Rockstar bought FiveM and RedM, which means their goal is to put it on PC and then help work it into the RP and make money off that. Let's see how they make money off the RP.
Oh, yeah.
But go on.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Well, all I want to say is that's great that you got it out there, but you really did take advantage of the time of the time. I mean, you really did.
Hopefully,
really did.
Hopefully, it's positive.
That game came out in 2013.
Hopefully, it comes out when they say it comes out.
Ridiculous.
It'd be a long time for Rockstar.
I'm sorry, not 6 came out in 2013, but GTA 5 came out in 2013.
Yeah.
But hopefully it comes out when they say it comes out. Hopefully they took the amount of time it's going to take to make the game. Because with the last few games, it's we'll put it off. We're going to put it off. We're going to put it off. And I remember standing in line.
And I think that's why it's been such a long life cycle between 5 and 6.
If you remember in the other podcast even before then, you guys even said they're not going to make a 6 because there's no money in it.
No. We said they were going to make a 6, but they weren't in a rush to do it.
Yeah. Okay,
we knew there was going to be one coming.
Okay, I just know that
they want to upgrade the graphics and they want to put it in a different city. Which, from what I've read on Kotaku, .com, it does seem that this will be an extremely large map. It basically
we're talking double,
so they
if not more.
We're actually talking like the size of Florida.
Well, and here's the deal. I don't think it's like necessarily the size of Florida. And whenever I saw the leak, I knew it was Vice City. I saw the airboat, which meant Everglades, and I said maybe the Keys too. If they're going to include the Everglades, they'll include the Keys. So I did see the map. It looked like it's Vice City, So Miami, Everglades, and the Keys, and a little bit north. That's a big chunk area, and just like in 5, they're going to go ahead and compact it down. But it's still going to be. It's probably double the size of GTA 5's map. It's huge, just massive.
Right, but that brings me to my next point. Probably my last point, if I can't think of another point. But because I've been back and forth about this with other people. Why do you keep picking the same fucking cities?
Because it's lore.
So they've been using Liberty City, Vice City, and what's San Andreas? Liberty City, Vice City, and San Andreas since the original Grand Theft Auto came out on the PlayStation 1.
I understand that, but my biggest thing is we're at 6 now, and you're not even trying to explore other cities. St. Louis, Chicago, fucking.
I could see them doing a Grand Theft Auto world Chicago.
Yeah, they did some Japanese cities too, and they had some of the smaller games.
Go Eagles!
I think they did, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but my point though is, it's like you're not experimenting enough.
Yeah.
You
get that.
You don't take so much money. Right. You don't took so much money from us that you're not willing to even experiment, to even take a risk factor to give us something newer with it. Like you just proved it, Spur. You knew it was Vice City when a leak came out.
Yeah.
You should have been if a leak came out, you should have been able to say, I don't know what city it is, but it looks very interesting. I want to play that. Instead, we're looking at going, God damn it, Vice City again? But that's fine. You're going to make it a bigger map times 3,000. Okay, that's cool. I got the console that can handle it. Okay, I'm going to apply some more shark cards to do the flying shit again, to be a CEO again.
I bought one shark card. That's it.
And to do all this shit that I can't. First off, when are you going to allow it to be easier to make more money? Like, I guarantee you in 6, you're going to have another stock market, and I'm not going to be able to make any money out
online.
of it.
They won't put it online. It's too easy because they need to make their money.
The single player, you can make money on the stock
it,
market in GTA 5.
Yeah, for single player you can, but for multiplayer you need to if you add in the stock market, you make it unfair for other people who don't understand that system.
Yep,
that's a pretty scientific system.
But they can learn, and the other thing about that is you just like you learn the game with the mechanics of the game. Yeah, if you could, just like you can learn the mechanics of the game, there's a high and low risk factor. Some money you may, or some days you may make tons of money. Some days you jump on, you didn't make that much money. Some days you may lose money. That's just the name of the fucking game. You talk about RP. That game is the closest to RP, which is why it's being used out of all the fucking games out here now.
Well, and not only that, but it's the one that's been people have been able to crack to modify.
Which sure,
now they don't have to.
But there has to be an interest for them to want to crack it in the first place.
Right.
And so my point to it is, you have all this money that you accumulated, and you mean to tell me that you couldn't even pick a fucking bigger, you couldn't even combine 2 cities? What?
Well, in a sense, they're combining a whole chunk of a state, which is going to be more than one city. If you look, you can say in a minor sense that like some of those
it's also
like a big
factor.
City and a little, but I think that's it. It's. Can they, and would it be interesting? Yeah, but do I care? No, not really, because Liberty City is a throwback. It's a throwback to the not Liberty
GTA
City,
3, which was the first.
So that's Liberty City, and then Vice City. There was Vice City, the game, and that's a throwback to all of us, and we played all those, and honestly, a lot of people who are playing these games have they may have never played the game in that city, or that was a game they barely touched. They maybe played it through real quick because it was already classic for them. A lot of people who are playing this game are young.
But the problem is that just like the movies, and the people too afraid of creativity, you're doing remakes of the same movie over and over and over again. The problem is, hear me out. Give me 1 second. I know I got to defer to you. Just give me one.
No, you good.
My issue is you are not creating anything new for the people who are young. All you're doing is recreating. You're just recycling the same fucking tire, but improving it instead of making a brand new movie that can start off on its own thing and go forward. That's all.
There's a reason for that, and unfortunately, it's just the part of the cycle we're in right now. We're in movies specifically have a cycle of, okay, we don't have any good new ideals, let's remake it. Then you get okay, nobody wants to see these remakes, let's make something new. And eventually we'll get into that, let's make something new. It's gonna be a few years, but it's gonna eventually happen.
Does that fall in the time? I guess it kind of
point.
falls in the timeline.
And that's a fair point that Brown made. However, I may be ahead of the game in my complaints because I'm gonna buy the game anyway. But all I'm literally saying, right. I'm gonna get the game anyway. But all I'm literally saying is,
downloading at midnight.
you can mark my words. Right. Oh, you can mark my words. But all I'm literally saying is, eventually, we're all going to get to that same conclusion of when are you going to do something more than this?
I can't deny I've thought the same thing, but I also see the lore of it. You know, the lore of Vice City. It's something, and you know what? It was based in what year? The 80s, was it?
70s or 80s.
70s.
I think
late,
it was the 70s.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Early 80s.
Okay. So somewhere on there.
Because
so
they were going
there.
for a Scarface motif.
Yeah. So, you know, they base their GTA is, I don't want to say Rockstar. GTA is really good at creating this lore and all this shit. They've made a Pissbwasser. What's that? You know, it's fucking Budweiser. I mean, you know exactly what the shit is, but they keep using it throughout every single game. It creates a lore. So they want to tend to create these same games. I think it would be really interesting to see a different city. I think it'd be cool to see a different city. I get it. So that's the thing. I get it. No, I know I am. But I don't, you know, at the same time, it's kind of cool to see the retroness of let's see Vice City again and let's see that, you know, it really it brings back memories. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Well, you're right. You're right. I agree with you, Spur. But my thing about that is when you make a new city and you do new creativity, why don't you make those references in those new cities or references?
And they will, you know. I think they will, but we're kind of we got three areas and we visit them and we're cycling back, and some of those games, like one was Vice City, that was the name of the game, and then there was 4 and that's Liberty City, same as 3, and then 5 wait, what? I'm getting mixed up. San Andreas, which was the same as
San Andreas.
There, yeah. Sorry. Right. So yeah, we're kind of revisiting. So it's like, you know, will we see another? Are they going to keep recycling? And I do hope that we do see another. But
I think in 20 years after they come out with this one, we will see a new city.
We're gonna be all retired, sitting there. I'll be sitting in my garage smoking a cigar, playing on the big screen in the back of the garage.
No, you're not gonna be playing on a big screen. We're gonna have Neuralink. So basically, you're gonna press a button. These little, because if you remember when I think it was PlayStation 2 came out, they had the ads for it. Where the little kid was sitting there and there was like this little PlayStation orb thing in front of him and he pressed it and then like these little nanobots came out and floated and went into his brain.
We don't need that anymore. They're already being implanted. Shit.
I know.
But
and then, and then he gets high off of him and then he can't think straight. You see him.
That'll be me.
Oh God.
So
it didn't work.
I just want to mention this real quick. So that trailer we just watched, that was supposed to come out on the 5th. All right. So it was supposed to come out on Tuesday. It got released on Sunday night, Monday morning, because of one of the Rockstar developers' sons leaked it on his Twitter page.
And see,
So
if
then, obviously, Rockstar had to put it out officially.
I guess if I was a parent, I'd be going to jail because I would be beating your ass. I would be literally coming home to whoop your ass.
See, now
Literally
you're
just
defending them,
'cause
dude.
that's about to cost that man- that could've
You
potentially
wanted to
cost
come
that
out, now
man
you're
his
defending
job.
them.
Listen, I got points that sometimes I defend me, sometimes I defend them, sometimes I defend flying cars and being a fake CEO and wanting to be in the bike gang. Give me a break, okay? Let's come together. Press the button.
Shit. Yeah. No. So getting back to, I think it would be cool to see a different city. I think it'd be something great to see. I also see what how easy it is to target California, Florida, and New York for being fucked up places. To target
Florida, especially.
Florida, especially 100%. Like that's like really like Florida is so easy of a target.
But St. Louis
California,
is too.
not as
What I
easy
could
as
see
them.
doing-
Yeah, like
I mean,
so. Let me
Gotham
scoot
City-
back.
You know,
Florida.
Gotham City.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me
I was
back
gonna
up.
say, did you know? Go ahead.
Yeah, like Florida is just known. If something crazy fucking happens, it happens in Florida. LA and the surrounding areas, it's just a fucked up area. There's a lot of shit happens there. It makes it an easy target. Because it's busy. There's a lot going on, and a lot of it's fucked up. New York, it's just a busy area. It's not as fucked up, but still busy. You can just say, hey, here's a lot of crime. California, this is a crime-based game. California, a lot of crime and a lot of fucked up law. Florida, just fucking, I don't know why, it's just fucking insane. Now you start moving towards like, St. Louis is the biggest small city. We all want to see something happen in St. Louis. It's the biggest small city. It's the highest crime rate per capita in St. Louis City. But is it all really that crazy? Not if you compare it to Florida. Not if you compare it to Los Angeles or New York. We have, Missouri has some of the loosest laws, yet it's still not as crazy as those places. So that's kind of why I see it. Even Chicago, huge gun problem. Oddly, some of the strictest gun law, but still like all that going on, it's still not comparably as crazy as those places. Although if there was another place, I think it would be a Chicago.
What I
Well,
could
it
see
needs to be.
them
Go ahead.
doing, what I could see them doing is like a DLC or like a. I know we don't have it anymore, but the PSP would have been a great option for this. Would be make a Grand Theft Auto game, a smaller Grand Theft Auto game, based in a city like Chicago or based in a city like St. Louis, something like that, just to see the reaction of the fans.
Well, the problem with the PSP is that all the games on PSP were watered down, so it wouldn't have sold anyway. The PSP
I know.
was
But
struggling.
that perfect reason why it'd be a good test. But go on.
Well, I don't know about that because most people want the console before they want a game.
Yeah.
Most people buy the console to get the game. Most people buy the console and not the game. It's just a bonus that the game comes out and then it's with the console that they want.
But
Yeah.
So the PSP didn't really sell that well, and the PSP Go even went worse, from what I understood. So all I'm saying is, you may not necessarily want. Maybe they didn't need to do a city. Maybe they just did a coast, Midwest, West Coast.
that's actually
now-
a good point, though. I think there's a reason they select coasts. But go on.
But right, because they want to put water in it. But my thing is that Missouri. You could have did a state. Missouri.
And put mountains to
water.
block you. Can't pass the mountains. Sorry. Can't pass the river. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's doable.
something along those lines.
But that, and also you have lore to deal with that. Like, we like the lore that it's an island. It's coastal. It's, you can't get further this way because there's water. Sorry. But
Yeah, and that falls back to the original. Like, PlayStation 2 had a very limited capacity when it came out with GTA 3 and GTA Vice City. The Xbox also, you can only go so far. It kind of like what they did in in the PlayStation, in the original PlayStation and N64 for Silent Hill, where they put fog everywhere. That was because of a limitation of the console. Now we have very, very powerful consoles, and you could put in a way to block, like Spur said, of mountains or the the river or something like that. That's why I'm saying they need to do the PSP thing. The only reason I said that was a good testing platform is because it wasn't doing good. It could have potentially helped the sales of the PSP if you put out a Grand Theft Auto game that people wanted to try because it was a new city and stuff like that. Just like the DLC idea I had of, hey, we're going to try somewhere new and we don't expect it to be super great, but if it is, then our future game that we make will be expand upon that DLC and give you, instead of Chicago, it's like I guess Vice City, since that's Miami, and Liberty City's New York. I guess you would say like I would say Windy City, but that's Chicago. It would still fall under Chicago. I think has a license on or
yeah, but something
copyright on that
similar
or
in
something like that,
name.
so.
But yeah,
Just
Chi-town. I don't know. Let's.
You could have did the whole state of Texas and made it a game. I'm just trying to literally say that you could
They
have put
did
a
that.
little bit
It's
more
called
effort.
Red Dead.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. Because to me, they gave up on that.
Because they put
Especially
all their money
online.
into GTA. That was it. They put their money into GTA.
They gave up on
I
that
called
game.
that
and
the end of the story. They did. They absolutely did. I thought it was a great game. And in fact, that's been where my RP life has been. I don't know if you've checked. I don't know if you've watched, but I've been RPing in Red Dead. Well, I'll
Didn't
leave
know
it at that. Yeah.
Okay.
I got some streams over Agent Wabbit and Twitch. But do we have anything more to add to that, really? If
So
not,
the other city from the original game, because I just Googled it, from
Okay.
the original Grand Theft Auto, they had Liberty City, San Andreas, Vice City, and then London in 1969 and 1961.
Gotcha. Okay.
So those are the four cities that they had in the original PlayStation games, which were originally supposed to be racing games, but then got turned racing games with police chasing you, but the police were set to too aggressive, and so they made it into the GTA as we know it.
God damn it. Glad that happened. So before we finish up GTA, it just popped in my head a little bit ago. Trying to stick to lore. If they did St. Louis, what do you think they'd do for the arch? They can't do the arch. Would it be a giant square?
They would do double arch. They would make it a
Like,
McDonald's.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or not a McDonald's. Well, what's it called in the
It
game?
would be upside
Burger?
down. It would be a big ass U.
Big.
That's what it would be. It would be a big ass U. It would be upside down.
And then if you had Chicago,
it's probably
they have
more
that
accurate.
B up there.
Seriously, it would be an upside down U. And then you would know that was the arch because it would be upside down, and you'd be like, "What the fuck? What is it? Why is it upside down?" That's the whole point. That's the whole goddamn point.
Then you go up to Chicago. What would they do for the bean? They
the
would
bean.
probably do
Yeah. Oh man.
probably a giant dick, just because of how they are. Let's be 100% honest. They would probably do something along those lines.
And then like the sports teams, like the White Sox, it would be like the Dirty Sox.
Yes,
Or-
absolutely. Yeah.
You
No,
know,
you're
it would
right.
be like
You're
that,
probably not far from
or was it what's the other team? Is it the Red Sox? No, I'm tripping.
No, you have the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs. Oh yeah, it wouldn't even be
The
Cubs.
Bears,
it would
Chicago
be fucking
Bears.
no. 'cause
No,
that's
they
what-
already
can't
have the
do
Chicago
Bears.
Bears, our football team.
Yeah.
it would. What's the? It'd be like just a Chicago fetus or something. It'd be fucked up.
And then their basketball team
The
wouldn't be the
fetus and the
Bulls.
football.
They'd be the Cows.
I think we got them figured out. We have
We're
this. We have this shit down. We're writing the next GTA game.
Michael, what would we say? Michael Wheaties? Michael.
No, because you can't. They wouldn't use Michael. They would call, and it wouldn't be a black guy either.
It would be
a white guy.
Miguel. He'd be Mexican. It'd be Miguel.
There we go. It would be Miguel Haywan.
Miguel Hordan. Hordan.
Miguel Hordan.
I'd be damned if they steal our shit.
God
they steal our
damn, I
shit,
hope
you-
so. I fucking hope so. They can have it. My permission
Rockstar,
now.
if you are
Take
stealing
it.
our shit, you 100% take it, please.
100% take
All
it.
you have to do.
I only want money from New Riff.
No. Actually, you know what? Let's make it even better. Rockstar, if you are watching this and steal our stuff, have us as a radio station.
We'll do
in the game.
voiceovers. I'll be a character. I'll be the one of the guys walking down the street. Talking on the phone.
Or I would be one like Laszlo in
Laszlo,
in
they're gonna
5.
they're gonna
They can have bring us in there for it.
you're gonna stick burn a dick into your ass or something. Like take the thing.
I'd rather be like the DJ or the CEO that does one persona, and then behind the scenes, I put you behind the scenes and be like, "Listen, dude, you're gonna go get this crack that I'm supposed to be having, and this cocaine. Otherwise, I'm gonna kill you."
I do have a buddy that's done some of the audio. We've all met him. Done some of the audio in
I
one
was
of the
gonna say,
GTAs. Yeah.
You know people in the gaming industry, Spur. You need to start
Gaming
putting some words
industry
out there
and
for
all,
us.
yeah. Like I said, people in the gaming and people GTA done voices. Pretty cool though. Let's talk about our new beginnings. I'm starting as okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Spur.
I'm starting as
You
a
got it.
more sterile individual. That's all.
You get the bust nuts in your
Lockhart,
partner.
this is all about you, not me.
Oh God. No, I really wish you wouldn't have said that after what I said, because
that was not the greatest timing on. Hey, Lockhart, this is all about you. After I
that's
talked
not
he
really
talks about busting nuts and
you get the bust nuts in your partner. Well, Lockhart, it's not about me, it's about you. What the fuck?
you just made it sound like Spur is about to bust a nut and Lockhart.
I'm gonna go ahead and be like, I'm gonna go to the police and tell them where you touched me. See this Sonic here? I'm gonna show him right here. He did it right here.
Dear officer, I had to go into his backyard.
Just
and then I
walk up
had
to
go down some
dispatcher.
steps.
You start doing
and
that. Like, just walk. You don't say anything. You just walk up to dispatch and do that.
Yeah, he did this to me right here.
Walk up to reception at the police. Don't say anything. Just start doing that.
He did this to Sonic. I can't. I don't know. I thought it
He
was
told me
fair.
to bite down. He was going in.
I thought
I
he
was
had
just
enough
sitting
rings.
at home, and out of nowhere, I just heard.
I thought he could turn into Supersonic and blast his way out, but instead he blasted me. I don't know what the fuck. Sir, why are you doing that? Oh God, that sounded horrible. On top of what? Anyway, moving on. Oh shit. Okay, so for me, I think so. Here's what happened. Well, Here's what happened. No names. So
Like a slow, soft, sad song, or
yeah, go ahead and play a sad violin. I don't think it's gonna work on my end. Got that?
Oh, you hit it too many times. Was that?
I
that both
know.
of you?
My mouse double clicked on it.
Oh, that's all on you.
Yeah, it's all good. So I don't know if you knew about this, bro, but I'm gonna break it down what happened. So I used to have a podcast, and I had a podcast with an individual. The fuck?
Don't worry
We
about
got
it.
a podcast with Hyundai.
Was he gonna say vroom? Oh, that's the wrong one. Vroom vroom. There it is. And with this podcast, we talked about relationship issues, and we made it comedy based, and it was funny, and we had a lot of followers. In fact, I think Bird was actually a follower at one point.
Mhm.
And
After 5 minutes, I clicked on subscribe, but
okay. Wow, that made me feel better right there. Yeah, that. So anyway, what ends up happening is, out of one of the fans, we end up having a groupie, right? And this particular lady, 23 years old, finds out that she's, she really enjoyed the podcast, and she's married, and she's taking the advice that me and the other person is giving, and applying it to her own life, and she's seeing results. So she's coming back and telling us results, hanging out with us more, and actually that person actually joined some of the episodes that we had on the podcast. So what ends up happening is, long story short, I find out that from this person, this groupie, that she wanted to have relations with me. She wanted to fuck me. Okay. And I'm a man, so I thought about it. And then after that, I was like, nah, I think we should just go ahead and be cool, because you're talking about wanting an open relationship with me, and you have a husband, and I don't need that kind of karma coming back on me, right? I don't need to be going to or having you go to the police. He did this to me. Oh my God, he did this to me. Okay. So that's not my favorite position, by the way. But anyway, moving on. So
we'll touch on that on the next episode.
Yeah, next episode. So
of your show.
Right. So that's exactly what I'm getting to. So this woman gets told no, but when we hang out the next time, what goes for the other individual. Okay. So we all hang out. The other individual is like, I don't want anything to do with that person. I don't know about that person. That person is kind of up and down. And she's married. I don't think that's a good idea. You know what? I don't want her to become between you and I, and our podcast, in our friendship. Also outside of that, I'm like,
let's come together.
I agree with exactly. I agree with that. Whoever that white person that said that.
That was George Bush.
Okay.
George W. Bush.
Yay, Bush. Okay, Bush. For the first time in my life, I'd probably say go Bush. All right. Anyway, that was actually a joke in a disc. Anyway, so then we meet up, and we all have an agreement, because we have a talk. We all have an agreement. Hey, we all should just remain friends. That means nobody fucks nobody. That means you don't fuck her. You don't fuck me. Her fucking me, not him fucking me. Okay. Her fucking me. Okay. And my partner, friend wise, says, okay, yeah, I'm
show
cool with
partner.
that. Yeah.
Show partner.
Shut up. Show partner. Okay. God.
Clarifying.
All right. Okay. Sure. And what ends up happening, bro, is she mysteriously has a problem with the husband of hers, and come to find out, she was actually in an open relationship with her husband, with her best friend's fiance. Okay. And so what ended up happening with that fiance, her best friend's fiance, that she was fucking at the same time as her husband, was that that the fiance said, listen, you're getting too fat for me. I can't handle you anymore. You're getting too big. And so that got cut. So she felt a certain type of way, in my opinion. Okay. Because not only did she feel a certain type of way, she found out that her husband and the best friend were also fucking. And they kept that continuing. So she felt left out of the loop. So what she did was, in my opinion, she decided to call my show partner, thanks Spur, and become a victim So she came over to my show partner's home and proceeded to tell him that, hey, he's getting aggressive. I don't want to be with him. I'm going to divorce him. That person. It's not going to work out. You know, I found out he's still messing with my best friend, and we had an agreement. That type of thing. Okay. Obviously, you hear manipulation in that.
Oh, sorry. Your story is going, and then you interjected. I turned up the sad music for you.
No. You should keep the sad music going. I want that going, please. Okay. So then she needs a place to stay. I don't have the room in my residence. Okay. However, he does. So what ends up happening is, hey, dumbass, say, well, why don't you let her stay at your place because you have the room for the night? My show partner's like, okay, yeah, why? I don't see a problem with that. Next thing you know, one thing leads to another. So I'm gonna speed through this. It means she starts making him breakfast. She stays the night again. He starts telling me, oh my God, she can cook. Oh, it's wonderful. She can cook, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing, she's hanging out more. He's sitting in the front seat of his car. The next thing after that is we getting ready to start a new show for the podcast we had. And this motherfucker, right before I hit the fucking record button, goes, hey, bro, I need to talk to you, bro. Yo, and I'm exaggerating his voice because that way you know, yo, you know, I know you had some things about her, you know, and I said some things and things have kind of changed. And, you know, I mean, I'm actually feeling her, bro. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pursue a relationship with her. And I just want to make sure that's cool with you. Fuck no, it ain't cool with me. What the fuck is your problem? Are you out of your fucking mind? You met her 3 months ago. You fucking kidding me? You just got you going through shit yourself. You just signed paperwork. Figure that out. Are you kidding me right now? So that ended up breaking us up, just like the sad violin as you hear right now. So after months and months of thinking about it, going back and forth,
not the violin. There we go.
God damn it. Just like this violin you hear right now. So after back and forth of contemplating with friends and family members, it's time for Lockhart to have his own household. A household big enough for everybody to come in and be themselves and enjoy a conversation with one-on-one with Lockhart as the host. So I'm going to have my own podcast and I'm going to kick it off. And it's still in the works. I'm still working out bugs and rules and shit, but that's the plan going forward.
And I'm sure it'll be shared when we need to share it.
Exactly. So people can come in and you'll see but before you come in, you'll see the rules.
Sorry, your violin's been interrupted by a commercial. There we go. Carry on.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. You can shut the violin off now. I think they heard enough of it. That's fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's
so.
Who knows if that's copywritten or not, or whether it's going to get muted or not. That whole section could have been muted for all I know.
All right. Listen. Either way, I'm gonna have a podcast of my own where I'm the host, and you all will be my guests, whoever joins, and it's pretty much gonna be Lockhouse House, and it's gonna be called Household on Lock. Household on Lock, where Lockhart is the head of household. That's all. Okay. And we'll talk about everything because it's going to be an all-out show, just like this here.
It'll be Lockhart, sponsored by New Riff. Sponsor me.
Right. And HelloFresh. Brown sister, go ahead and holler at me and let me know you can sponsor.
Oh my God.
Sponsor this with your money.
I'll make sure she gets your number later.
I didn't say holler at me for sexual activities. Okay. I'm good.
I didn't say that. I said she'll get your number.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
What she does with it, that's between you and her.
I can't wait to be guy number 25 in the bedroom. Anyway,
it might be
Who's
guy number
counting?
37. I don't know.
Hey, we've all had offers.
Hey, you're okay. You're okay with sloppy 57s, aren't you?
hell no. She never offered to me, by the way. I never had her come to me and go, ooh, Lockhart.
Well, I don't think she ever met you.
That's a good thing. Straight. Yeah.
Hey,
Keep that
if you want that one person that worked with me at worked for me at Steak and Shake
Oh,
reached
fuck
out
you,
on
open your
Facebook.
eye. No, you don't. No, you don't. No. No. Fuck it. You already said it now. You already fucking said it. So you might as well finish it now. Everybody's fucking. Go ahead, bro. It's too late now. Go ahead. Spurgeon knows nothing about it. That's why he's shocked. But go ahead. Go right ahead. I did not fuck that girl. I did not fuck that girl. Just so you know.
Hey,
I did not touch that girl.
She just asking if you still around. I didn't know what to say. I ain't respond yet. I can for you.
Wait. She asked you out of when? How long ago was this?
3-4 months ago.
Where's the throw up button? Hit the. Did we just talk? What? No, I don't
Did you
want.
bring
No. You need double. You would need 75 of them. Exactly.
But his body's telling him yeah.
Telling me no. But my body's telling me yes.
I need to know
No.
more.
Dave's not here.
Listen, okay. Yeah, you gonna disappear now after he don't expose that. So there was this chick that I'm not gonna say her name, but there's this chick that I met on plenty of pussy.
Plenty of fish.com.
God damn it! I wish you wouldn't have said that, but that's fine. Okay, because that was
Hey,
horrible.
if you want to
That's
find
not what a
Lockhart,
religious
just go
one
on
says
there
that.
and you can potentially find.
I'm not on there. You won't find me.
Oh,
I'm locked down. Okay, that's you see what I did there? Okay, I'm locked down by myself. I don't have a partner. I'm single. But my point to it is, I
he's
met her-
single and ready to mingle. He does not care. I mean,
I do care. I do care.
so your standards aren't that low yet.
Correct. Because that woman. Okay. I just remember her. First off, she just had a baby not too long ago or something like that. And
I think she had her child 4 months before I started working there, and
yeah,
and we talked about you.
3 months
5 or 6 months after
it
it was like 3 months. Yeah, you're right. Like 3 months after I started working there. So
yeah. Didn't want to tell me that until after the fact, right? Okay. Spurs like, what? Yeah.
hey, I didn't tell you because I didn't know and like who she was talking about until she saw my phone and your face popping up on my Facebook.
Obviously. And that's part of the reason. That's reason number 2. She's a stalker. She stalks the shit out of you. Can you imagine if she would have come to my house and knew where I live? Could you imagine the fucking?
Hey, she might have brought her 6 kids with her.
Oh God! Ugh. I just jumped.
With 4 different dads.
That's what she has now.
Jesus.
I don't know what she has now. I didn't really talk.
I
I was
know.
like, oh yeah, hey, I remember
It would
working
not
with you.
surprise me. But she got all bent out of shape when I told her, you're not even ready to date. You're not even, you shouldn't even be on here.
I no
You-
longer
you're
know what the
barely
fuck's
even-
going
Hey.
on.
Even by. There's a woman
She
that
was
was trying
just
to date.
looking for someone to help take care of her 35 kids. I don't know.
She was looking for someone to take care of her infant child and put it on child support. Even though that baby was white, she was going to try to put me on and say I'm the daddy. That's how crazy she was.
Hey, she told me she was
Yes, you
down
know.
for the chocolate rain.
And she might have been, but she was also down. She was
That
also
really
down to
sounds
dip that damn-
concerning.
And she was also down to put that ex parte in chocolate too.
She was also down for the churros.
Okay.
Twisty.
I
It's
think
so
she even got.
twisty.
I think one of her kids might have been an egg roll.
Oh, damn. Wow. I want to say
If we weren't getting hit with some sort of
that's why I was very
like mark,
we're gonna get hit with
I think we might have hit that point right
We're
now.
We're
long
gonna
past
get
the
with-
5-minute review, so I think we're good.
okay.
It's
well,
like a 5-minute rule. Before
Okay,
shit
well, I
turns
can
south,
see-
YouTube's like, if they've been watching 5 minutes, they don't give a shit
I was
anymore.
say, as long as you don't cuss in the first 30 seconds,
I
YouTube
think
doesn't care.
I think it's 5 minutes now, but yeah, you're right.
okay. Well, I can see them coming at. I can see us getting marked for this. For this
No,
whole
not
episode.
Mark, just somebody bitching. But if they've been
That's
watching
true.
this long, they don't give a shit about that. So
Okay.
Hey,
well,
you know what you forgot to button you forgot to hit today, Spur?
what did I forget to hit?
You forgot to hit that some of this content may be
Oh
Let
yeah.
me take care of it now.
This show can contain adult material which may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah. Only 2 hours in. That's great. I love that.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
usually
something
you
should
hit
be
that button
at
around the browse
start.
horse sister point.
Or like right
But-
after the intro, before I let you guys talk. I mean,
Yeah. I think that. I
so
think
what
I'm
you're
gonna-
saying is intro from now on I need to start yelling some fucked up shit just to make sure you're hitting that button.
just yell viewer
just need
discretion
to-
advised. And you know what? Before we quit, I did think about this earlier. Oh God, where'd it go?
I'm gonna need that button,
Um,
by the way, for my podcast because that's. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit that repeatedly.
I'll just send you the audio clip, or we'll go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
Which way, one
Yeah.
way or the other.
Yeah.
But-
Because I'm sure we're gonna just send it to me. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right.
Oh man, where is the right?
Yeah, anyway, that girl was nasty, and I just she had no business dating anybody, and for her to be asking about me at this point, it's like you really.
I don't know how she found me on Facebook because my Facebook is private.
Maybe she wants some of that spur dick or that brow dick.
No, she knew I was full no on her.
No,
All right. Anyway, since nobody knows what the fuck you guys are talking about,
there's this chick
go
that
ahead.
was trying to holler at me that had.
She was okay, so she was a third shift server who was not petite in any way, shape, form, or fashion. She was definitely a BBW.
all right.
And yeah, she found out via
She wanted to get luck with Lockhart.
overlooking
That's
my shoulder
what it is.
that she and Lockhart had talked on plentyoffish.com.
Oh, all right. Fair
She
enough.
wanted.
Fair enough.
She wanted to take me.
She's
to
like,
town.
"How do you know that man?" I was like, "Oh, that's a guy I hang out with. Like, I used to work with him at a different Steak and Shake a long time ago, and we still kind of hang every now and again." And she's like, "Oh, I've been talking to him on this one." I was like,
All right.
"Oh,
Yep. I know what a point in time that was. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, before
Yeah.
we close it out, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I was gonna share a little share a streamer that I've shared with Lockhart before, but I believe definitely deserves some respect. We got little
I
smoke
remember
and
him.
scan action here. If you ever want to watch some live scanner action, live. We threw out the viewer discretion advised, so may as well. This guy just fucking ate shit, jumping out of a stolen police car. This guy, if subscribe to Smoke and Scan, if you're bored on Friday, Saturday night, just pop
He's
him
not
on the
moving at
screen
all.
if you want to. No, yeah, he's not. But if you want to fucking relax, chill out, watch some shit going on, you'll catch this going on, and you'll catch somebody getting their oil checked in the middle of a bar, when everything's are slow. But here we've got some great moments from him. I'm gonna turn him down a little bit. No, he's a great streamer. He's using
So, have you? Just because you're showing this, have you seen any of Donut Operator's recent videos?
probably all of them.
Like the one where a police officer was fired at by someone with a Glock with a switch, a full auto switch on it.
I caught that one. Yeah.
And then the police officer gets chased by the suspect.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was a good one to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I toss out a donut operator, whoever. But like where I'm going here, this is a guy who just will stream for hours. You'll catch a 5, 6, 7 hour stream from him. When things are slow, he's got other shit to go to and just bullshits. But when shit's live, it's fucking popping. You'll catch shit like this constantly. Well, not constantly, but anytime it happens, he's got a scanner going. He's streaming from his scanner, not from a web scanner, but from his scanner. He's scanning, or he's running feeds live from whichever news networks aren't sending him letters to quit. But it's all gonna be, you know, California based. But it's fun to watch. He's doing this. Other than if it's not watching something live, and even what it is watching live, he's just ripping on his bong or his bag or whatever he's got full of, you know, little smoke for him. That's why it's Smoke and Scan. But I was just kind of like looking through things like, hey, is there anything to discuss? And nothing came to mind outside of what we had. No videos or anything I wanted to make you guys watch and talk to me about. But no, I just thought, you know, if this guy, he's not monetizing. He's taking donations. If nothing else, check him out. Check out what he's got. It's some really fun shit. I will literally just relax, put it on the TV, and pull up YouTube videos until something interesting happens. And it's some good shit. Yeah, it's fun. And that guy's light. You could actually literally just see it drop on him. But 100%. If you can, subscribe, check him out. If you want to I don't give a fuck if you donate or not, but it's just a good channel. That's all. It just came to mind.
If you want to watch idiots do idiot things at idiot times of the day, there you go.
That's it. And if something comes up and he's available, he jumps in. He's dedicated and he has fun. And honestly, if you got somebody that's dedicated and has fun, makes for a good channel. I think Smoke and Scan's a great well, let me get the fucking mouse off the timeline so it actually shows everything right. But yeah, no, I think it's an awesome channel to watch. It's a good time, and I don't think he'd be pissed if I showed his videos while discussing them and talking about how good his channel is. Yeah, that's all. That's all I got. That's all I got. I don't have anything else for the night. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
I'll hopefully have my podcast up and running sooner than later, but give me time and get it set up right, and it'll be announced. It'll be out there.
Okay.
It'll be and by the way, it's only an audio one. It's not
no
a video one.
You can run on YouTube with no video, so that's an option too. Multicast, my friend. If you want to go live.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Anything else before we just start moving our mouths while music plays and we act like we're talking to each other? Just act like it's the news, just me.
I'm curious. Tell that fat bitch I said hi. Don't tell her that.
I'll let her know.
I will point her in your direction. You are welcome, sir.
Yeah, right. Don't do that. Anyway.
All right, humankind.
Be both.
I hit the wrong button.
Good job.
All right, humankind.
Be both.
Be both.